Extraordinary Genius. Chapter 1. Xiao Yu, wake up. It's almost midnight, get up and eat some dumplings. Quote. Feng Yu felt the voice was unfamiliar, but at the same time, very familiar. He answered in a daze and opened his eyes, only to see a young face that only existed in his memory. Sis, you're awake, go and wash your face. I told you not to drink, but you insisted. You didn't even watch the Spring Festival Gala and fell asleep. Feng Danying laughed. Spring Festival Gala, today is New Year's Eve. Feng Yu looked around. It was a small room of less than 6 square meters. There was a single bed, patched bedding, an old wooden table, and a 20-watt incandescent lamp above the room. There were also old newspapers on the walls. The newspapers were about some important events in the country that Feng Yu could not remember. Wasn't this the old house of his family when he was young? But this house had been demolished with the construction of the small town. Also, how did his sister become so young? Feng Yu raised his hands and realized that this was not a prank. His hands and arms had become smaller and thinner. He jumped down from the bed and stood beside the door frame. On the door frame, there was a mark he made with a knife every New Year's Day. The highest line was 1988, 166 centimeters. It was 1988. He had not graduated from junior high school. He pinched himself hard and almost cried out in pain. Was this not a dream? Feng Yu opened the door and saw his mother cooking dumplings in the kitchen. He lived in a small house. The kitchen was just outside the door, and the living room was on the other side of the kitchen. Wake up. Do you still drink in the future? Zhang Muhua looked at her son lovingly. Feng Yu looked at his mother, who still had black hair. His eyes were moist. Mom, you have worked hard. What are you talking about? Hurry up and wash your face. Go to the room and watch TV. The dumplings will be ready soon. Zhang Muhua heard her son had worked hard and was pleased. Her son had grown up. When Feng Yu saw his father sitting on the stool in the living room, his lips were trembling. In the future, when he just had the ability to make money, his father was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor and passed away in less than 3 months. He didn't even spend a penny that he earned. For a long time, Feng Yu felt upset. He wanted to support his son, but his parents were not around. Dad. Feng Xingtai turned to look at his son. You're up. Are you still dizzy? Let's watch TV for a while. It's a folk dance gala. It's very festive. Quote. I'm not dizzy anymore. The effects of the alcohol have passed. Dad, I want to have a drink with you later. Seeing the anger on his father's face, Feng Yu quickly explained, beer is fine. Quote. Feng Yu hadn't had many drinks with his father in his life. Now, he had a strong desire to drink with his father again. You still haven't learned your lesson. Fine, drink some more later. Let's see if you can wake up tomorrow to pay your New Year's greetings. Danying, go get 2 bottles of beer. Quote. Feng Danying shook her head helplessly and turned to get a beer and a glass. There was also a single bed in the living room with a quilt on it. Feng Danying went to school and lived in the inner room with her mother when she came back from school. This bed was for Feng Xingtai. But 3 years ago, it was still Feng Yu who slept on this bed. There was a 3-door wardrobe on the west wall of the living room. There were 2 suitcases on top of the wardrobe. On a solid wood table, there was a 14-inch black and white TV. The Spring Festival Gala was playing on the TV. In the middle of the living room, there was a folding round table filled with dishes and bowls and chopsticks. There were a total of 8 dishes, but they were all leftovers from the night before. There was chicken, fish, and pork knuckle. All 8 dishes were meat dishes. There was not a single vegetable dish. Feng Yu didn't watch the TV. Instead, he walked to the wardrobe and looked at himself in the mirror. Although the lighting was not very good, Feng Yu could still see himself clearly. He was clearly in his teens. There was a little beard under his nose. He looked at the calendar on the wall by the door. February 16, 1988, New Year's Eve. Now, he was sure that he had been reborn. His mother quickly cooked the dumplings. Feng Yu and Feng Danying went to the kitchen to help serve the dumplings. After the 4 of them sat down, Feng Xingtai picked up his chopsticks. Xiao Yu, you are still drinking. Zhang Muhua stared at Feng Yu. Mum, it's New Year. Let me drink a little more. Feng Xingtai also helped to say a few words. Zhang Muhua shook her head and let them be. Feng Yu also poured a glass of beer for his mother and sister. As a family, they must drink together. Dad, Mum, Sis, Happy New Year. Cheers. The leftovers on the table, Feng Yu casually took a bite. He felt that it was exceptionally delicious. In this era, there were no hormone additives like in the future. The fishes and rabbits were all wild. The chickens and pigs were all raised at home. The two of them ate the leftovers and drank a bottle of beer each. Feng Xingtai did not allow them to drink more. After dinner, Feng Yu washed up and went back to his room to lie down. When he was lying on the bed, he tossed and turned. He could not help but think about his life before he was reborn. Feng Yu was in his 40s. After he resigned from a securities company, he did some investments to make a living. He had invested in stocks, futures, gold, crude oil. Although he was not very successful, his income was not bad. He had a wife and no children. His father had passed away, and his mother was living with him. Feng Yu remembered that it was spring 2015. He had brought his wife overseas to get treatment for her infertility. He wanted to earn more money. So, he used all his savings, including his house and car as collateral. He borrowed a large sum of money to invest in the stock market. Based on his prediction, this was a bull market. Even a fool can make money. At first, the situation was very good. His investments doubled very quickly. So, he boldly used high leverage in an investment company. He wanted to make more profits. If he could double his investments again, he would not have to do anything for the rest of his life. When the stock market reached 5,000 points, he was like many people. He was greedy and thought that the stock market could continue to rise. At first, the stock market did rise a little. But soon, the stock market plunged. He had used high leverage and did not have any funds. He lost a lot. After repaying the money he borrowed, he was penniless. His wife still did not know that their house and car had been mortgaged. He did not know how to go home and face his family. He was bankrupt. That day, he drank a lot. He purposely fell on the road in front of many people and was hit by a truck. This should not be considered a suicide. The accident insurance he had bought should be able to pay a few million. It should be enough to redeem his house and car. He could also leave some money for his mother and wife. He remembered looking at the speeding truck and thinking that if God could give him a second chance, he wouldn't die in such a cowardly way. He wanted his family to live a comfortable life. But he didn't expect that God would really give him a chance to start over. Since God had given him a second chance, then he will not have any regrets in this life. He wants to be a tycoon. He wants to be a legend in the investment industry. Thinking of this, Feng Yu shouted, Feng Yu, I'm back again. Xiao Yu, stop shouting. Go to sleep. On the other side of the wall, Zhang Muhua shouted. At the same time, she was blaming her husband. Why did he let their son drink at night? Was learning from Hu Hansen a good person? He is a traitor. Feng Yu smiled when he heard his mother complaining. He turned over and fell asleep. When Dong Shuibing woke up in the morning, he took out a red envelope from under his pillow. This was a huge sum of money. In this era, a popsicle was 2 cents, and a cream ice cream was only 3 cents. After Dong Shuibing greeted his parents and ate a few dumplings, his childhood friend Wen Dongjun came to his house. Wen Dongjun was walking happily in front with a stick of incense in his hand. From time to time, he would light a firecracker and throw it. Feng Yu was not interested at all. He only felt that Wen Dongjun was too childish. Dongjun, we have walked around half of the village. Let's go back and play poker with Brother Liang and the rest. Although there were less than 100 households in the village, Feng Yu could not stand the cold weather and did not want to leave. Especially when he was wearing a cotton-padded jacket and trousers, he missed the thermal underwear and down jackets of his previous life. Okay, let's go to Brother Liang's house. Junzi, Xiao Yu, what are you two doing later? A 17 to 18-year-old young man walked towards them. Feng Yu narrowed his eyes when he saw him. He had deliberately avoided this young man's house, but the village was too small. Brother Chuan, the two of us are going to play poker with Brother Liang. Are you coming? Let's level up. Poker can be played anytime. I am going hunting in the afternoon. Are you two coming? Lu Jiquan invited. Wen Dongjun's eyes brighten up when he heard hunting. Usually, his father does not allow him to touch a hunting rifle. But during the Lunar New Year, his father will be going out for a visit. He should be able to steal it. Go, not going. Wen Dongjun and Feng Yu shouted at the same time. Feng Yu must not let Wen Dongjun go. If he went, he would break a leg and regret for the rest of his life. Thinking back to his previous life, Wen Dongjun slowly lost contact with him. It was because of this hunting incident. Xiao Yu, you are not going. That Junzi, bring a hunting rifle and come to my house in the afternoon. We will go to the duck gully in the north. Even if we can't hit foxes, there should be plenty of pheasants and ducks. I will go back to pack my hunting rifle. Come earlier in the afternoon. Quote. The moment Lu Jiquan turned around, Feng Yu saw a trace of hatred in Lu Jiquan's eyes. He immediately became vigilant. Could it be that this was not an accident, but a premeditated plan? After Lu Jiquan left, Wen Dongjun looked at Feng Yu eagerly. Let's go. We will go together in the afternoon. Didn't you want to touch a hunting rifle? Dongjun, listen to me. Let's play poker and not go hunting. It's not auspicious to hunt during the new year. Quote. It's at this time that there aren't many people. If it was before the new year, many people would have gone, and there would have been no way to get anything. Go, it's more fun with more people. Wen Dongjun's mind was filled with the scene of him returning from a rewarding journey. He wanted to let his father see that he was not only good at shooting house sparrows with an air gun. I really don't want to go. You shouldn't go either. You don't usually hang out with Brother Chuan and the others. We aren't very familiar with each other. What's wrong with that? We're from the same village. We're not familiar with each other, but we're not strangers. Furthermore, my father is the captain of the village. If his family wants to borrow the village's tractor, they still need my father's approval. Quote. Feng Yu knew why Lu Jiquan looked at Wen Dongjun with hatred. It was because Wen Dongjun's father, the village captain, Wen Deguang, did not agree to lend the village's tractor to Lu Jiquan's family. Dongjun, let's not play poker. Let's go to your house. I'm thirsty. Get me some of your father's good tea leaves. Quote. No problem. Let's have some tea leaves at my house later. I will show you my father's hidden hunting rifle. It's a double-barreled shotgun. It's very strong. Quote. Wen Dongjun kept talking along the way, and Feng Yu nodded his head. In his heart, he was thinking about how to tell Uncle Wen about this. When they arrived at Wen Dongjun's house, a gust of hot air blew into their faces. Both of them took off their dog skin hats and rabbit skin gloves and threw them on the table. Wen Dongjun went to look for his father's tea leaves. Xiao Yu, you are here. Have some sweets. There are pine nuts and melon seeds. Dongjun's mother, Tang Jing, was at home. When she saw Feng Yu, she placed some melon seeds and sweets in front of Feng Yu. Happy New Year, Auntie. Where is Uncle Wen? He went to Secretary Zhao's house for New Year's greetings. He will be back in a while. Feng Yu sat on the chair and casually asked, Auntie, we met Lu Jiquan just now. His family wants to borrow the village's tractor to open up wastelands outside the dam. Did Uncle Wen agree? Quote. Tang Jing laughed and shook her head. No way. The village is not allowed to open up wastelands for private use. But how can the village's tractor be lent to an individual? In the morning, old Lu came to our house and quarreled with your Uncle Wen. Quote. Feng Yu's heart sank. So this was the reason. Lu Jiquan purposely brought Dongjun to go hunting because of this. He purposely let Dongjun step on the bear trap, causing one of Dongjun's legs to be crippled. To others, this was just an accident. Even when Dongjun himself thought it was an accident. But was this really an accident? Come, try this. This is called black tea. Look at the color. Is it red? When Dongjun proudly poured a cup of black tea for Feng Yu. Tang Jing saw this and only smiled. Mum, you go to Auntie Wang's house. I will stay here to look after the house. Someone will be coming over to play poker later. When Dongjun said. Okay, I will go out for New Year's greetings. There are still dumplings in the pot. If you two are hungry, bring them out. After sending his mother away, Wen Dongjun quickly went under the bed and pulled out a wooden box, a shotgun and a dozen bullets. Dongjun, don't go. Didn't you hear what Auntie said? Lu Jiquan's family had quarreled with Uncle Wen just now. I am afraid that Uncle Wen might be up to no good. Feng Yu stopped Wen Dongjun's hand from reaching for the shotgun. He does not want the tragedy from his previous life to happen again. Many people quarrel with my dad. Didn't Grandpa Li beat my dad with his walking stick because of the seeds? What happened after that? When it was time to collect the land, my dad asked someone to collect the land for his family first. Grandpa Li also calmed down quickly. Wen Dongjun said indifferently. At the same time, he pulled away Feng Yu's hand and took out the shotgun. He took out 6 bullets and stuffed them into his pocket. Dongjun, listen to me. Don't go. Lu Jiquan had always been fighting with others in school. I am afraid that he might be up to no good this time. Tisk, I am afraid of him. What is this in my hand? If he dares to show off in front of me, the gun in my hand is not just for show. Quote. No matter how Feng Yu tried to persuade him, Dongjun still insisted on going. His reason was that although Lu Jiquan often got into fights, he never uses his weapon. He only uses his fists. Who is afraid of who? When Dongjun looked at the clock on the wall and pulled Feng Yu up, okay. It is almost time. You go home. I am going to look for Lu Jiquan. Feng Yu thought for a while. In his previous life, Lu Jiquan really did not use his gun. Later on, he joined the army and left. If he went with Lu Jiquan, he should be able to help Dongjun avoid the bear trap. Wait a minute, Dongjun. I will go with you. Really, I told you that you want to go too. If not, why are you sitting at my house for so long? Hurry up and go home to steal a gun. Remember to be like me. Wrap it in a gunny sack and say that I am going to catch a pheasant. When Dongjun acted as if he had seen through Feng Yu's plan and urged Feng Yu to leave quickly. Feng Yu sighed and quickly ran home. He hoped that it was really an accident. This time, there will not be any accidents. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 3 Novelty. Back home, Feng Yu stole a hunting rifle and met up with Wen Dongjun. They went to look for Lu Jiquan. Lu Jiquan saw Feng Yu was also carrying a hunting rifle and was surprised. But he did not say anything. He carried the hunting rifle and brought them to the duck ditch. Feng Yu, I thought you were not going. Why do you want to go? Lu Jiquan suddenly asked. It's boring at home. Let's go together. Feng Yu said and looked at Lu Jiquan. He noticed that Lu Jiquan did not have any expression on his face. Could it be that he guessed wrongly? I told you that you will definitely go. Follow me today, and I promise you will not return home empty-handed. They walked for almost an hour in the snow before reaching Duck Ditch. Lu Jiquan took out a pack of black antelope cigarettes from his pocket and lit one. He passed the pack to Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun. I don't smoke. Feng Yu waved his hand. Even if he wants to smoke, he will not smoke this kind of unfiltered tobacco. Only an old smoker can tolerate it. Wen Dongjun also waved his hand. Brother Chuan, I also don't smoke. If I can't walk on my way back, give me another one. Quote. Okay, I will show you my marksmanship later. Remember, don't run around. There are people setting up traps here. Also, when you are not shooting, point the muzzle downwards to prevent your fingers from freezing. Don't be too anxious to shoot. It's better to miss than to hit someone. Lu Jiquan instructed. I know, hurry up. A pheasant flew past just now. Wen Dongjun urged. Feng Yu looked at Lu Jiquan curiously. From Lu Jiquan's words, it seems that he did not intend to cheat Wen Dongjun. Was it because he was here, or was he thinking too much? Was it really an accident? Follow me. Try to walk in my footprints. Okay, stop. Feng Yu, you hide behind this tree. You can load the gun and point it downwards. Quote. Brother Chuan, let Dongjun stay here. I want to go to the tree in front. Feng Yu still does not dare to let Wen Dongjun be alone with Lu Jiquan. Okay, Dongjun, you stay here. We are about 30 meters apart. Even if you accidentally fire, no one will die. Remember, just move around in front of this tree. Don't go too far. There are big clamps here. If you step on them, it will be dangerous. Lu Jiquan warned. Wen Dongjun waved his hand and asked them to leave quickly. He then leaned against a tree and reloaded his gun while staring at the front. You squat here. Don't shout unless you find a big prey. I'll go over there. We'll go back in an hour. After saying that, Lu Jiquan walked forward with 1 foot deep and 1 foot shallow. Okay. Feng Yu nodded and started to reload. Lu Jiquan did not look like he was trying to harm Wen Dongjun. But what was with the look of hatred in his eyes? Feng Yu's 40 years of experience should not be wrong. Wen Dongjun was getting impatient. He had waited for almost half an hour, and he did not even see a pheasant, let alone a deer, lynx, or fox. Could it be that he had to return empty-handed today? I walked for more than an hour to get here, and I still have to go back in another hour. What's the point? Wen Dongjun sniffed his nose. If he knew this would happen, he would have listened to Feng Yu and played poker at home. Bang! There was a gunshot from afar. Wen Dongjun stretched his neck and looked over. It was Lu Jiquan. He had shot a lynx. Wen Dongjun was so excited that he had forgotten Lu Jiquan's warning. He ran towards Lu Jiquan. Lu Jiquan suddenly ran out of the forest and waved his hands. Wen Dongjun thought Lu Jiquan was showing off and ran faster. But Feng Yu could tell that Lu Jiquan was telling Wen Dongjun not to go over. Feng Yu grabbed Wen Dongjun. Dongjun, don't go over. There are traps in the forest. What's there to be afraid of? There are footprints here. If we follow the footprints, how can we get caught? Wen Dongjun said casually. Lynx. Maybe it is still alive. I have never seen a live lynx before. Feng Yu still wanted to say something, but Lu Jiquan suddenly ran towards them and shouted at the same time, run. Follow the footprints and run. Not far from the forest, a huge shadow appeared. It was a bear. Brother Chuan, dodge. Wen Dongjun raised his gun and aimed. He had never shot a bear before. Feng Yu did not know if Wen Dongjun was stupid or courageous. Such a big bear, unless the bear's eyes were shot, even 10 shots might not be able to kill it. Its skin was very thick. Lu Jiquan crouched on the ground, and at the same time, Wen Dongjun fired his gun. The bear wasn't hit, but it was enraged. What are you aiming at? Hurry up and run. Feng Yu pulled Wen Dongjun. Why the hell are you still reloading? With your marksmanship, by the time you hit the bear's claws will be able to touch your face. The three of them ran forward frantically. But in the snow, they could not run fast, especially when they were carrying a heavy hunting rifle. Don't run that way. There are traps, Lu Jiquan shouted. Feng Yu grabbed Wen Dongjun and ran in another direction. But in the snow, the speed of the three of them could not compare to the bear. The distance between them and Lu Jiquan grew shorter and shorter. Soon, they were less than 30 meters away from him. Brother Chuan, lure the bear over. Feng Yu gritted his teeth and pulled Wen Dongjun back to the trap area. If the bear was not caught by the trap, then at least one of them would die. Of course, this person would most likely be Lu Jiquan. Lu Jiquan had no other choice. He did not even have the time to reload his gun. He ran frantically towards Feng Yu and Feng Yu. If he was unlucky and stepped on the trap, then he would be dead. Shouldn't bears be hibernating? Why did this bear come out? If it was a passing bear, it might not look for you if you hide. But bears that roam in the winter must be hungry and come out to look for food. Especially when the bear was angered by the gunshot, even 2 or 3 hunters with hunting dogs would run away. Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun quickly reloaded their guns and saw Lu Jiquan running towards them with the bear. Lu Jiquan was running and praying that he would not step on the trap. It was snowing, and it was hard to see where the trap was. Pa! A trap bounced up, and Lu Jiquan fell to the ground. Luckily, it was only a trap used to catch small animals. Lu Jiquan sat on the ground and used both of his hands to break the trap. At the same time, the bear was getting closer to him. It was less than 10 meters away. Bang! A gunshot was heard, and the bear took a step back. There was blood on its ear. Roar! The bear's ferocious nature was aroused. Feng Yu's hands were trembling as he held the gun. In both of his lives, he had only played with an air rifle for shooting birds. Bang! Another shot was fired, and there was blood on the bear's mouth. Wen Dongjun had also hit the bear. However, the bear did not fall. Instead, it increased its speed and charged towards Lu Jiquan, who was still sitting on the ground. You've already exceeded your reading limit for today. If you want to read more, please log in. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 4 Novelty. Thankfully, the bear had stepped into a bear trap and was lying on the ground, howling in pain. Lu Jiquan had just removed the bear trap and quickly reloaded his gun. Crash! The bear tried to attack Lu Jiquan with the bear trap, but there was a thick metal chain on the bear trap. The other end of the metal chain was tied to a tree. The metal chain was straight, but it could not reach Lu Jiquan. Bang! 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 3 consecutive gunshots were heard. All 3 of them fired their guns. The bear was so close, and the bear did not dodge. All the bullets hit the bear's head. The bear fell to the ground and twitched a few times. Its blood stained the snow. Lu Jiquan quickly got up and reloaded his gun. He slowly walked towards the bear. Bang! The bear twitched a few times and stopped moving. He was sure it was dead. Lu Jiquan took a few steps back and leaned against the tree. He reloaded his gun and took out the black antelope with his trembling hands. He struck a match a few times before he lit it up. Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun walked over and took the cigarettes from Lu Jiquan's hands and lit 1 cigarette each. Thank you. After smoking a cigarette, Lu Jiquan said his first sentence. Ha ha ha, what's the point of saying all these? Brother Chuan, the 3 of us had hunted a bear. This bear should be worth a lot of money. Wen Dongjun's eyes were shining. He was thinking of the envious and jealous looks from the villagers when he returned to the village. Feng Yu was speechless at Wen Dongjun's heartless attitude. Feng Yu looked at Lu Jiquan. Lu Jiquan was still holding on to the gun. Brother Chuan, Dongjun, I have something to discuss with the both of you. I will buy this bear, and I will ask my dad to use our 55 horsepower tractor to plow the fields. What do you think? Feng Yu suddenly thought of a good idea. This way, he could get rid of Lu Jichuan's hatred and at the same time, let him earn a sum of money. The tractor in the village could not earn a lot of money, and it was very hard. But if this bear was brought to the city, there would be many people fighting to buy it. Although this was not the golden period for investment, there was a great opportunity coming up. He thought he would miss it, but now it seemed that he might be able to catch it. His investment plan could be advanced by a few years. After listening to Feng Yu's words, Lu Jiquan immediately threw away the shotgun and grabbed Feng Yu's hand, asking excitedly, "Is what you said true? Will your father agree to this?" Quote, "Hey, I promise I will get into a good high school in the city this year. My dad will definitely agree. Dongjun, is this possible?" Quote, When Dongjun thought for a while and said, "Then that lynx belongs to me. Both of you must say that I was the one who hit the lynx, and the bear was hit by the three of us. But I hit it first. Alright, it's settled then. Let's go back and make a sled first. If not, we will not be able to bring this 200 to 300 kilograms bear back." Feng Yu agreed. He did not want to brag about this. Lu Jiquan checked the bear's body again. The bear's body had turned cold, and it was confirmed to be dead. He also ran over to pick up the lynx. Feng Yu and Wendong used branches and sacks to make a sled. When they return to the village, it will be a glorious day. Old Wen, why is Dongjun not back yet? Did something happen to him? Tang Jing asked anxiously. What can happen to him? He stole our shotgun and must have gone to Duck Ditch to hunt. He should be back in another half an hour. When both of them were talking, they saw their neighbor rushing into their house. Captain, your family's hero is back. Huh, old Zhao, what hero are you talking about? Tang Jing asked. Your family's hero, sister-in-law, your son had gone hunting and returned with a lot of rewards. Do you know what he hit? It was a bear. It was so big, he used a tree branch to make a sled to bring it back. Now, everyone is looking at it. The neighbor said as he gestured with his hands. It was like he had hunted a bear. Wen Deguang and Tang Jing jumped up from the stool. They did not even lock the door and rushed out with their neighbor. Brother Jun, did you really kill the bear and the lynx? A child around 8 or 9 years old asked curiously. Of course, let me tell you, if it were not for me, these two would have run away. Do you know, I chased this bear for a few miles before I killed it with one shot. Of course, Brother Chuan and Feng Yu also had the credit. Quote, When Dongjun patted his chest. This was the 6th time he bragged to the kid. From the first version where they worked together to kill the bear that was chasing them, to the version where he found the bear and shot it down with a few shots, to the version where he chased the bear for a few miles, he had already updated 6 times. Sure enough, this kid's eyes were filled with admiration. This made Wen Dongjun raise his chin even higher. Feng Yu and Lu Jiquan did not expose Wen Dongjun's lies. It was true that Wen Dongjun was courageous, but chasing a bear for a few miles, anyone who had hunted before would not believe it. When Wen Dongjun started to brag for the 9th time about chasing the bear and lynx, someone pulled his ear. Who is his, mom, dad? Wen Dongjun's voice was trembling. He had stolen a hunting rifle and went out to hunt. Today, he would be beaten up again. But even if he was beaten up, it was worth it. Who in the village had shot a bear before? Only I, the godly shooter, Wen Dongjun. Go back home. All of you, stop crowding around. It's getting dark. Go home quickly. Wen Deguang was the leader of the hunting team. Everyone in the village, regardless of children or adults, went back home. Only Sun Yu and his family were left. They worked together to bring the bear and lynx back to Feng Yu's house. Uncle Feng, Feng Yu said that the bear will belong to your family, and the lynx will belong to the leader's family. When your family's land is plowed, 55 hectares will be used by both of our families. Leader's family has less land. Plowing first, and my family will use the land last. But it will take longer. Lu Jiquan said. Both families looked at Feng Yu. Feng Yu saw that his father was about to get angry, and he quickly walked over to his father and whispered something to him. Feng Xingtai looked at Feng Yu and nodded to Lu Jichuan's father. Brother Lu, this is not a problem. Leader, what do your family think? Quote. That's settled then. I will bring the lynx home first. After I am done, both of your families can come over to my place for a drink. Old Lu, now that you have a tractor, I don't care anymore. It's getting late, and we will go back first. When Daguang stood up, carried the lynx and went home with his wife and son. Lu Laozi and Feng Xingtai discussed for a while and left with their son. He did not expect his son to solve the family's biggest problem by going out to hunt. Once the wasteland he had his eyes on was cultivated, it would be more than 100 mu. This year, his family would be able to get out of poverty and become rich. Next year, he would be able to afford a small four-wheeled tractor with a dozen or so horsepower. After everyone left, Zhang Muhua started to complain to Feng Xingtai, "Your son is fooling around, and you are also fooling around. How much does it cost to rent a tractor? Why did you buy this bear? Can it be eaten?" Quote, "Mum, what if I tell you that this bear can be sold for 10,000 RMB in Bing City?" "How much?" 10,000 RMB. Teacher's son said it, Feng Yu said confidently. Although it had not been long since the reforms started, there were still a lot of households with 10,000 RMB. For example, Feng Yu's family was a household with 10,000 RMB. There were even more wealthy people in the city, and there were also foreigners. Just now, Feng Yu had told his father that this bear was worth 10,000 RMB, and it was cash. Not only was it tiring to rent a tractor for someone else, but he could only earn about 10,000 RMB a year. He still had to wait until the crops were sold in the autumn. Even if the money was deposited in the bank, the annual interest would still be high. "Ah, son, you are so smart. Tomorrow, I will ask your father to bring this bear to the city and sell it. At the same time, I will buy you and your sister a new set of clothes." Zhang Muhua heard that the bear could be sold for 10,000 RMB, and she smiled. Not to mention 10,000 RMB, even 5,000 RMB was a good deal. Feng Xingtai glanced at his wife. All the blame was on him, and all the credit was his son. Who was the head of the family? Extraordinary Genius Chapter 5 Novelty. On the morning of the second day of Lunar New Year, Feng Xingtai and Feng Yu carried the bear onto the back of the truck. Feng Danying also went into the driver's seat. She said she was going to meet a classmate in the city. Feng Xingtai still had no idea what was going on, but Feng Yu knew what was going on. He remembered that at this time, his brother-in-law and his sister had already confirmed their relationship. His sister was quite daring. She even dared to go to the city to meet her brother-in-law. The driver's seat of the number 55 was not big. Feng Yu and his sister could only sit on the metal shell above the tires. He carefully bent down. If he encountered a bumpy road, it was very likely that his head would hit the ceiling. They set off in the morning and took small roads. It took them more than 3 hours to reach the city. On the second day of Lunar New Year, there were many people on the streets. But all the shops were closed. But the international hotel they were going to was still open. "Hello, I am looking for your manager Yu," Feng Yu said casually at the front desk. "Young man, what do you do?" "I have a bear that I want to sell to your manager Yu Chunyuan. I had called him last night." "Ah, you are Mr. Feng's son. Wait a minute, I will call our manager." Quote. Less than 2 minutes later, a middle-aged man wearing a suit and tie walked out. Behind Yu Chunyuan, there were 2 chefs in white. Everyone was looking at Feng Xingtai, making Feng Xingtai nervous. "Hello, Mr. Feng, have you brought the bear here? I will bring the 2 chefs to take a look. Don't worry, the price will not be a loss for you." Yu Chunyuan shook Feng Xingtai's hand enthusiastically. "Yes, I have brought it. It is on the back of the tractor." While they were talking, there was a loud voice coming from the door. Feng Yu quickly ran out. He was afraid that someone would take the bear away. He would not allow the bear's skin to be damaged. When he arrived at the door, he saw 2 Russians pointing at the bear's corpse and whispering to each other. Fortunately, Feng Yu was originally a Russian language student. He did not stop working, so he had no problems with listening, reading, and writing. Only then did he realize that the other party was just lamenting about which brave warrior had hunted such a ferocious black bear. If he could buy this bear skin and bring it back, he would definitely be in the limelight in front of his friends. "Sirs, this is a black bear that my friend and I killed. We plan to sell the meat to the international hotel, but we don't plan to sell the skin and gallbladder." Quote. Kirilenko turned his head and looked at Feng Yu in surprise. This kid should only be 15 or 16 years old. How could he know Russian? And what did he say? This black bear was hunted by him. Could this be the legendary hunter family of Huasha? His marksmanship was too accurate. His ears, mouth, eyes, all the wounds were on the head, and there were no other injuries on the other parts of the body. He had preserved the integrity of the bear skin. He was simply a sharpshooter. He had to buy this bear skin and say that he hunted it in Washa. Wouldn't he be better than all his other friends? Friend, I am very interested in this bear skin. I only want the bear skin, and I can give you a high price. Kirilenko said seriously. How high? I have already contacted a buyer, and he offered a high price. Quote. How much he offered? I will pay double, Kirilenko said. He offered 10,000 RMB. 10,000 RMB. Then I have to pay 20,000 RMB. It's a bit expensive, but no problem. I want it. Kirilenko thought for a while and nodded his head. I am talking about rubles. Feng Yu added. According to the current exchange rate, 1 ruble was equivalent to 3 or 4 RMB. Kirilenko frowned. This Washa person was too greedy. Rubles were worth more than RMB. Impossible. It's just 20,000 RMB. I can pay immediately. I don't have any more. Kirilenko did not know. He did not explain to Feng Yu. Feng Yu was sure that Kirilenko really wanted this bear hide and was willing to pay 20,000 rubles for it. Then I'm sorry. I will sell it to another foreigner. He might be from your hometown and is also from the Soviet Union. He is willing to pay 10,000 rubles. Feng Yu said and turned around without hesitation. It seems that he does not want to talk anymore. 10,000 rubles. I can also pay, Kirilenko said anxiously. No, we agreed to pay double. 20,000 rubles. I can hire someone to skin and cook the skin for you. Feng Yu insisted. At this time, Feng Xingtai, Yu Chunyuan, and the rest looked at Feng Yu in shock. This kid can actually speak Russian with the Soviets. But what were they talking about? They were pointing at the bear. Could it be that they were discussing buying the bear? Kirilenko discussed with his friends for a while and nodded to Feng Yu, okay. But it must be quick. I will be returning to Moscow in a few days. No problem, we can sign a contract. Kirilenko felt that Feng Yu came from a family of hunters and often dealt with foreigners. If not, how would he know how to sign a contract? He also felt that Feng Yu was not only a warrior but also very smart. Kirilenko did not know how much the bear skin cost, but he felt that it was too expensive. Feng Yu turned to Yu Chunyuan and said, Manager Yu, I have sold the bear skin. My father will skin it later. Can we discuss the remaining price? Yu Chunyuan looked at Feng Xingtai. Seeing that he did not object, he turned to Feng Yu and said, Originally, I wanted to buy the whole bear. Now that the skin is gone, the price will not be too high. This bear seems to be less than 300 jin. I will sell it for 1,500 RMB. How about it? Quote. Excluding the bear's paw and gallbladder, this price is also on the low side. Excluding the bear's paw and gallbladder, this bear is 3,000 RMB. The bear's paw is 1,000 RMB, and the bear gallbladder is 2,000 RMB. The total is 9,000 RMB. Feng Yu calmly quoted the price. Mr. Feng, your son seems to be immature. He thinks that we will accept it just because he said so. 1,000 RMB for a bear's paw. There has never been such a price. The whole bear, including the bear's paw and gallbladder, is a total of 2,000 RMB. This price is high enough. Yu Chunyuan turned to Feng Xingtai and said. Feng Xingtai was not stupid, but he was not as eloquent as his son. He shook his head and pointed to Feng Yu. He is the one who hunted the bear, and he is a well-educated man. If you all can't come to an agreement, I will look for someone else. Quote. Someone else? In Bing City, other than our international hotel, who else can afford to pay such a high price? Mr. Feng, this bear meat will not be fresh if it is frozen for a long time. Yu Chunyuan said arrogantly. Manager Yu, do you think the 2 guests who went in earlier are willing to pay a high price for the bear's gallbladder and paw? Also, such a big bear is enough for your restaurant's specialties. If the leaders know that you all have bear meat dishes, I think they will be willing to come to your restaurant for meals. Feng Yu said, this bear was worth this price now. If in the future, black bears could be legally bought and sold, and they were so rare, this bear could be sold for a few 100,000 RMB. There were many rich people who wanted to eat bear meat. A cooked bear's paw could be sold for 100,000 RMB, and they still need to pay first. You, young man, your price is too high. 1,000 RMB for a bear's paw. Do you know how much wheat can be bought for 1,000 RMB? Your family can't even finish it in a year. Also, the bear gallbladder is 2,000 RMB. How can this price be? Quote. Here, they are coming out. If you don't want to buy, I will sell it to them. They had also asked for the price just now. I had promised you first, and they gave up. Feng Yu pointed to Kirilenko and Kirilenko, who were walking out. Yu Chunyuan turned and looked at Feng Yu. He gritted his teeth and stomped his feet. Other than the bare skin, the total is 7,000 RMB. Our restaurant has a teacher who will help you to peel the skin. Feng Yu smiled. You also need to help me cook the bear within a week. We will sign the contract. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 6 Novelty. Feng Yu skillfully drafted 2 contracts in both Chinese and Russian. He was not used to not having a computer to print the contract. Both parties signed the contract quickly. Feng Yu only provided a black bear which was worth about 10,000 RMB. After negotiation, he got 20,000 rubles and 7,000 RMB. He does not need to care about the skinning and cooking of the bear. Yu Chunyuan wanted to exchange the rubles with Feng Yu but was rejected by Feng Yu. In this era, the exchange rate for foreign currencies was not the official rate. Feng Yu remembered that his future brother-in-law had the means to exchange foreign currencies to RMB. After Feng Yu left, Kirilenko's translator arrived. When he heard that Kirilenko had used 20,000 rubles to buy a black bear hide, he was cheated. If Kirilenko liked it, he promised to use 5,000 RMB to buy a black bear hide for him. Kirilenko was furious. He was cheated by that Washa. But never mind, when he brought back this hide, he could still tell that it was a new bear hide. If he bought a few years old bear hide, he could buy it back in China. But if he met that kid again, he must teach him a lesson. You are going to meet a classmate. Is it a boy or a girl? Feng Xingtai looked at his daughter and asked cautiously. Dad, can a girl visit at this time? I think it must be my sister's boyfriend. You can take a look at that kid's character. With your many years of experience, you should be able to see through that kid. Feng Yu flattered his father, and his father was very proud of himself. You are right. Your sister is already a grown-up. It is fine for her to have a boyfriend. But if his character is not good, definitely not. Xiao Yu, I didn't know that you are so hardworking in school. You can even speak Russian with the Russians without a problem. You can even draft a contract. Manager Yu was stunned when he saw you. I didn't send you to school for nothing. Quote. Of course. Whose son am I? Feng Yu's words made Feng Xingtai even happier. Just now, his son had discussed the price with the Russian and the manager of the international hotel, and the price was much higher than what he had expected. More importantly, the way the people at the international hotel looked at his son made him feel like he was floating. Our old Feng family also has a great talent. Feng Xingtai wrapped the rope around the tractor and pulled it hard. The tractor rumbled. Feng Yu shook his head silently. The key to start the tractor was a rope that could dislocate a person's arm. It slowly evolved into a handle that could often break a person's arm, and then it became a real electric ignition key. Now with this money, he can guarantee that from next year onwards, even if his family does not farm, he will still become the richest man in the district. Under Feng Danying's instructions, Feng Xingtai drove for half an hour before he saw a young man standing by the side of the road. He was wearing a thick cotton padded jacket and was holding a military coat in his hand. Dad, stop the tractor. Xi Jiang is there. Feng Danying patted her father's arm. Yesterday, when Feng Yu was making a phone call to the company, she had also called Xi Jiang. But because of Xi Jiang's sweet talk, she dared to come to Bing City to meet him. Danying, the weather is cold. Put on this coat. Seeing Feng Danying alighting from the tractor, Xi Jiang quickly ran over and put the military coat on her. Feng Xingtai cleared his throat. He was happy that this kid brought a coat for his daughter, but he was not happy that he put the coat on his daughter in front of him. Hello, uncle. My name is Xi Jiang, from Bing City. I transferred last year and am working in a post office near the school. You must be Xiao Yu. I often hear your sister talking about you. Quote. Hello, brother Li. Feng Yu smiled and secretly shook his head. Just this sentence from Xi Jiang was enough to make his father angry. What does he mean by often hearing your sister talk about you? Does it mean that the both of them had been together for a long time? If Feng Xingtai hadn't come to the city to sell the bears, he would still be in the dark about it. Sure enough, Feng Xingtai's face became serious. He looked at Xi Jiang from head to toe. Li Xi Jiang was not tall, but he was about 1.75 meters. He looked energetic. He was working in a post office and was also a city resident. This was not bad, but Li Xi Jiang was secretly dating his daughter. This made him very unhappy. Uncle, my house is just in front. Come over and have a seat. We can have lunch together. Feng Xingtai hesitated. If he were to sit at Li Xi Jiang's house, it would be considered as both parents meeting. Feng Yu saw his father hesitating and said, "Dad, let's go. I have something to ask Brother Li." Feng Yu remembered a big event that was going to happen this year. This event would allow him to increase his money by several folds. He needed a trustworthy person to do this, and there was such a person in front of him. "All right, there is no need for lunch. Just a glass of water will do. We will go back in a while." What made Feng Xingtai surprised was that Li Shijiang's parents were waiting downstairs. This made him feel proud. He also felt that Li Shijiang's family was not bad. "Mr. Feng, hurry up and go upstairs to warm up. This must be Danying and Xiao Yu. They are as energetic as Mr. Feng." Li Shijiang's father praised all three of them. Just now, when Yu Yuanchun from International Hotel called him Mr. Feng, Feng Xingtai did not feel anything. But when Li Shijiang's father called him this way, he felt that he was being respected and quickly put on a smile. When they were going upstairs, Feng Xingtai was still nervous. In their district, not to mention the village, there were only a few buildings. Luckily, there was a small shop downstairs. He bought some canned food and malt and did not come empty-handed. After entering the house, Feng Yu looked around. Both houses were not big and the area was only about 50 square meters. It was not even as comfortable as their bungalow. Their bungalow had a front yard and vegetable garden. Feng Xingtai and Li Shijiang's father chatted happily. Li Shijiang's mother brewed some tea and brought out some melon seeds and candies. She then went to the kitchen to cook. This was the first time her son's girlfriend's family came to visit and there were also her parents. No matter what, they should have dinner before leaving. Both fathers were chatting and Feng Yu did not care about his sister. He sat on the sofa and pulled Li Shijiang aside. "Brother Li, are you working at the post office?" "Yeah, your sister told you, right? Are you thinking of buying monkey tickets? Let me tell you, there are almost 51 monkey tickets now. What's the use of them? If you want other stamps, I can get some for you." Quote. Li Shijiang worked at the post office. More than one person had asked him to buy monkey tickets. But he does not have any monkey tickets. "No, I am asking about the treasury bonds. Can you help me buy treasury bonds?" Quote. Feng Yu suddenly remembered about the monkey tickets. But it was too late. The golden age of having monkey tickets had passed. Investing now was not worth much. In Feng Yu's previous life, there was an investment legend who made his first bucket of gold from treasury bonds. Within a year, he started from 20,000 RMB and became a millionaire. This legend became a legend. Treasury bonds. What do you want that for? It takes a long time to repay and you can't cash it. When I work at the post office, I was forced to buy tens of RMB worth of treasury bonds. If you like it, I can give you 10 RMB as New Year's money. Quote. Li Shijiang gritted his teeth. 10 RMB is a huge amount of money for his monthly salary of 80 RMB. But for his girlfriend, he must be willing. Feng Yu looked at Li Shijiang gritting his teeth and smiled. "Brother Li, I don't want your treasury bonds. I just want to buy some treasury bonds. Can you help me? Collect all the treasury bonds from your colleagues and friends. I want as many as you have. 5 RMB, 10 RMB, all of them." Quote. Li Shijiang was shocked. Is there something wrong with Danying's brother's brain? I have already said that whoever buys treasury bonds will regret it and he still wants it. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 7 Novelty. Before Feng Yu could explain, the dishes were already on the table. Because they still have to drive for 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon, Feng Xingtai only drank a bottle of beer and Feng Yu could only drink soda. But both families had a good chat. If it were not for Feng Yu's reminder, Feng Xingtai would have already decided to marry his future in-laws. "Please, sister is only 19 years old and is still in school. Even if he wants to get married, he must wait until sister graduates from nursing school." Feng Yu continued to pester Li Shijiang at the table. But this time, he did not mention about treasury bonds. He must first let Li Shijiang believe that Feng Yu has a way to make money. "What did you say? Uncle Feng has 20,000 rubles in his bag. Are you kidding me?" Quote. Li Shijiang almost jumped up when he heard this news. This is a huge sum of 20,000 rubles. It is enough to buy several houses the size of his house in Bing City. Didn't Danying say that her family is only a 10,000 RMB household? How can she have so much money and still carry it with her? I am not kidding. Brother Li, you are working at the post office. There must be a lot of people who want to exchange rubles, right? But to exchange at the bank, you need to apply and foreign exchange certificates. It is very troublesome and you cannot exchange much. I heard that if you exchange privately, the price will be much higher than at the bank. Quote. Li Shijiang looked at Feng Yu. You want me to find a private person to exchange at a high price for RMB? Of course. Can you do it? This is my father's idea. He is too embarrassed to tell me. Old Feng still does not know that he has been betrayed by his son. Li Shijiang heard this. Since it is Danying's father's idea, then he must do it. Anyway, he works at the post office and there are many people who ask him if they can get foreign exchange certificates. Although 20,000 rubles is a lot, he can guarantee that he can exchange it at a high price within 3 to 5 days. Okay, leave it to me. I guarantee that I will exchange it at a high price for RMB. Okay, my father will give you the money later. This is a test for you. Danying's father trusted him so much. How can he disappoint his future father-in-law? He immediately patted his chest and promised Feng Yu that he will be able to exchange all the money within 3 days. Half an hour later, Feng Xingtai went out to roast the car. In this era, there was no antifreeze. If the car was not warmed up, it would not be able to start. Li Shijiang went to help, and Feng Yu also volunteered to go downstairs. Dad, can I discuss something with you? Can I use the money first? Feng Yu asked carefully. Feng Xingtai covered his bag with both hands and looked at Feng Yu warily. What did you say? You little brat, do you know how to use money? Besides, what do you want the money for? Quote. Dad, I heard from my teacher that the people in the city want foreign currency when they go abroad, but the bank can't exchange much. They will look for a private exchange at a high price. Brother Li works at the post office and has some connections. You can ask him to exchange 20,000 rubles, and I guarantee that you will get more than the bank. Feng Yu once again used his trump card to make money. Feng Xingtai was greatly shaken by the negotiation in the morning. Unknowingly, he realized that his son had become so capable after going to school. If he can make more money, of course he wants to earn more. The post office also manages foreign currency exchange. How much can we get? Quote. A few thousand RMB more. It's a few thousand RMB. Feng Yu felt that his tone and expression were the same as when he had just entered the industry in his previous life, trying to convince clients to invest. A few thousand? Really so much? Rubles are much more valuable than RMB. Can Xiao Li help us exchange? If his family knows about this, will they think that we are greedy and will have a bad impression of your sister? Feng Xingtai hesitated. Money is important, but his daughter's happiness is more important. Dad, Brother Li offered to help. I had casually mentioned to him about exchanging money at the bank, and he said that exchanging money at the bank will be a loss for us. Furthermore, his relationship with my sister is already settled. Uncle Li also said that he will visit us in 2 days' time, and he will bring the money over. Quote. Feng Yu tried to persuade both sides. Feng Xingtai hesitated for a long time and took out 2 stacks of rubles wrapped in oiled paper. He asked Feng Yu to pass it to Li Shijiang. Feng Yu passed the rubles to Li Shijiang. Brother Li, once this is settled, your relationship with my sister will be settled. Li Shijiang's face turned red with excitement. He kept the oiled paper and nodded his head. He is also afraid that Danying's father will change his mind. Where can he find such a beautiful and gentle woman? When the car is almost cooked, Feng Xingtai took out a rope and set the car on fire. Feng Yu followed Li Shijiang upstairs to call his sister. Li Shijiang's family came downstairs to send them off. They even took a lamb leg and placed it in the back of the car. Li Shijiang's father forced Feng Yu to take 10 RMB as New Year's money. After the Feng family left, Li Shijiang's father saw the oiled paper in his son's hands. What are you holding? This is the money Uncle Feng earned from selling the bears in the city. Rubles, foreign currency. Let me help you find someone to exchange it for RMB. Quote. Your Uncle Feng trusts you a lot. Go and exchange it these 2 days. We can bring it along when we visit him. Oh, how much is it? Li Shijiang's father is happy. This is a good thing. 20,000 RMB. How much? Li Shijiang's father asked. 20,000 RMB. 20,000 RMB. How big is the bear he hunted? 20,000 RMB is enough to buy our house. People in the farm earn more than us in the city. Li Shijiang's father sighed. So what? Our son is a city resident and is working in the post office. Li Shijiang's mother did not look down on the Feng family, but she still has a sense of superiority. It is 20,000 rubles. Based on the exchange rate, it is around 80,000 RMB. Li Shijiang added. This time, Li Shijiang's mother could not stay calm. Her lips trembled as she asked, 80,000 RMB. How many bears did he kill this time? Quote, Mum, bring this home. I will go out for a walk. Before the new year, there were a few people who wanted to exchange for rubles. I can go and ask them how much they want. Li Shijiang passed the oiled paper to his mother and went to look for people who wanted to exchange. Li Shijiang's mother hugged the oiled paper tightly and pulled her husband upstairs. She was afraid that there would be an accident. 80,000 RMB was a huge sum. She had never seen so much money in her life. Li Shijiang's position in the post office gave him a lot of convenience. In this era, the post office had many functions. At least, many people who looked for Li Shijiang felt that Li Shijiang was capable and could do things that others could not. For example, there was a vice president of a company who was going to the Soviet Union to study next month. He wanted to buy some Soviet Union specialties for his wife and children, but he only had a small amount of foreign currency. His wife's nephew, who was also Li Shijiang's classmate, had looked for Li Shijiang to help him exchange some foreign currency certificates. After an afternoon of hard work, Li Shijiang managed to get 8,000 rubles for 1 ruble to exchange for 4.5 RMB. Tomorrow, he will bring the money to Li Shijiang's house to exchange. 3 days later, Li Shijiang exchanged all 20,000 rubles for a total of 91,200 RMB. There were 2 times when the exchange price was slightly higher. After completing his task, Li Shijiang was very excited. Not only he had helped his partner's family to earn money, but others also felt that he was capable. But the only thing that troubled him was that there were still people looking for him to exchange rubles. But he did not have any rubles left. If only he had more rubles. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 8 Novel He. On the 6th day of January, the Li family drove a 212 Jeep to the Feng family's house. The Feng family was also waiting outside to welcome them. The dog was chained to the backyard to not disturb the guests. The Li family carried 2 cartons of cigarettes, 2 bottles of wine, 2 boxes of tea and 2 bags of red sausages. Li Shijiang was holding a canvas bag tightly. The family sat down and Zhang Muhua brought Feng Danying to prepare dinner. Feng Xingtai chatted with Li Shijiang's parents. Li Shijiang carried the big bag and followed Feng Yu into the house. Brother Li, are you done exchanging? Yes, 91,200 RMB. It's all in here. Feng Yu raised his eyebrows. It was more than he expected. Seems like there were a lot of people in Bing City who needed foreign currency. He could make a lot of money if he seized this opportunity. Brother Li, thank you for your hard work. I think my father will be very satisfied. If you have more rubles, can you exchange them? Quote. Yes, actually, there were people who came to me to exchange rubles, but I don't have any left. You can still get rubles. Li Shijiang was curious. Foreign currency was not easy to get. He worked at the post office and his father was a leader. Even such a family could not do anything. How could a middle school student from a farm have any connections? Feng Yu smiled and said, International Hotel. International Hotel. There are a lot of foreign guests in the International Hotel, but how are you going to get in? Do you know the manager of the International Hotel? Quote. I can get the foreign guests to exchange. We will give them a slightly higher price. Don't they want to take advantage of us? Quote. Li Shijiang slapped his forehead. Why didn't he think of this? But to communicate with foreign guests, he needs to know a foreign language. He does not know any. Then we need to find a translator. It's not easy. Feng Yu used his hand to attract Li Shijiang's attention, and then pointed to himself. I can communicate in Russian and English. He then said a few sentences in Russian and English. Li Shijiang's jaw dropped. You know 2 foreign languages. Is Danying's brother a genius? How old is he? How can he know 2 foreign languages? How did he learn? In this era, knowing 1 foreign language was already worshipped, let alone knowing 2. In 2015, not to mention 2 foreign languages, there were even 3 or 4. Feng Yu had even seen elites who were proficient in 8 foreign languages. Okay, I will go to Bing City with you tonight. I want to visit my teacher. Tomorrow, after I exchange rubles, I will pass it to you. Li Shijiang realized that he, who was in his early 20s, felt like he was meeting a leader in front of a 15-year-old child. This future brother-in-law would definitely become a big shot in the future because he was a genius who knew 2 foreign languages. When they arrived at the central room, everyone looked at them. Feng Yu revealed a harmless smile, and everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Feng Xingtai was afraid that something might happen to the money, and he did not tell his wife about the large amount of rubles. Although it was a little different from his expectations, his wife was still happy for a long time. Especially when she heard that her daughter was dating someone from the city and was working in the post office, she told everyone she met in the village. Li Shijiang's parents were afraid that the Feng family would not be satisfied with the amount of rubles exchanged. They were also afraid that the Feng family would think that they had hidden some of the money. Although their family was not as rich as the Feng family, they would not do something like this. They were especially fond of the well-behaved and sensible Feng Danying. This kind of daughter-in-law must marry into their family. They must not let their future-in-laws pick on them. Lunch was based on the Feng family's tradition. It was another 8 meat dishes. There were pheasants, hares, and wild fish. The Li family's chopsticks never stopped eating. Although they were from the city, the food in the city was not as fragrant as the food here. Furthermore, they met their future-in-laws today and realized that they were easy to talk to. The marriage between their son and the Feng family's daughter was officially settled. So, the Li family's appetite was high. When his father went to the toilet, Feng Yu followed him out of the toilet. "Dad, I got the money back. 91,200 RMB. This is at least 7,000 to 8,000 RMB more than what I got from the bank. I want to go to Bing City with Brother Li and the rest. Firstly, I want to visit Teacher Sun. He is from Bing City, and I should pay him a visit. Secondly, I want to go to the international hotel to exchange the money for rubles. If I continue to do this, I can get a few thousand more RMB." Quote. At first, Feng Yu thought that it would be difficult to persuade his father. But his father was more straightforward than him. "Fine. I will let you keep our family's passbook. If you continue to do this, you are not allowed to do this anymore. Dad, don't worry, I will only do this for a short period of time. You should be going to high school in the second half of the year. There are no high schools in the district. The high schools in the district and the branch offices are also average. You should go to the city for high school and get into a good university in the future. Let them know that our Feng family has a genius." So, this was what his father was thinking. His expenses in Bing City were much higher than at home. He must earn more. "Dad, don't worry, I will surely get into a high school in Bing City and get into a good university in the future." Feng Yu might not have much confidence in his physics and chemistry subjects. But for the high school entrance exams, physics and chemistry were easy. Also, he will surely get high marks in mathematics and Russian. He will also be good in Chinese. There was still one semester for him to adapt. He might not be able to get into the best university in the city, but it should not be a problem for him to get into a high school in the city. "Okay, good son. You are promising. Don't be like your father. Digging for food in the fields. You will be a good for nothing. Your sister will be graduating this year. When she graduates, I will buy a house in Bing City for her. You can live with her and let her take care of you." Quote. Old Feng was very generous. He had asked around and found out that the Li family's 2-room apartment in Bing City was worth about 20,000 RMB. His family's assets were more than 100,000 RMB. He could even afford 3 to 5 apartments. Of course, all these must be kept from Feng Yu's mother. Luckily, Feng Xingtai still knew the passbook password. At around 2 p.m., the Li family got up to leave. Feng Yu and his mother helped to load the food on the roof of the jeep. These were all bought from other families in the village. "Mum, I am going to Bing City with Brother Li today to visit Teacher Sun. I did not have the time last time." Zhang Muhua nodded. "Of course. Teacher Sun treats you so well. But I did not prepare any gifts for Teacher Sun. I will bring you some money later. You can buy some canned food, malt milk, etc. for Teacher Sun." Quote. Towards Teacher Sun, not only the Feng family, but everyone in the district respected him. His character and knowledge were very good. He even gave up the opportunity to return to the city to work and had sponsored many poor students. He was a good man in the district. Feng Yu also respected him a lot. This time, he was going to Bing City to visit Teacher Sun. "Mum, it's okay. My dad had given me the money." When the Li family knew that Feng Yu was going back to Bing City with them, they welcomed him. Anyway, the jeep was big enough for 4 people. But the Li family was puzzled. Why was Feng Yu still carrying that big cloth bag? Wasn't that bag filled with money? Could there be an accident? In the jeep, Feng Yu explained to them that he was going to exchange for some rubles. He also told his parents that if they had money, they could use it. 10,000 RMB could be exchanged into 11,000 RMB in a few days. It was easy and profitable. Li family's parents thought about it. Anyway, the money was with their son. Furthermore, the Feng family was getting more money, and they also wanted to earn some money. Their son's wedding would surely cost a lot of money. So, back at Bing City, Li family's parents passed their passbook to their son. They asked him to go to the bank with Feng Yu tomorrow to withdraw all the money and exchange it for foreign currencies. That night, Feng Yu stayed at the Li family's house. He slept on the same bed as Li Shijiang. Li Shijiang slept soundly, but the Li family was tossing and turning all night. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 9 Novelty. The next morning, the two of them went to the bank to queue up and withdrew all the money in their passbooks. After counting, they put the money in a bag. After deducting the small change, there was a total of 143,600 yuan, of which the Feng family had 112,800 yuan. Feng Yu drove straight to the International Hotel. This was the time when there were many people entering and exiting the hotel. 3 foreigners were waving at them. They seemed to be trying to hail a taxi. As the first city in China to have taxis, Bing City's taxi industry was one of the most advanced in China. "Sorry to disturb you. Do you need a taxi?" Feng Yu asked in English. A blonde foreigner looked at Feng Yu curiously and then looked at the jeep in the distance. He nodded and asked, "How much does it cost to get to the riverside?" They had been scammed by these cars before. Taxis only charge 5 RMB, but they charge 50 RMB. 10 RMB, but we only accept RMB. Why, I will pay you in USD. 5 United States dollars. You can exchange for more than 10 RMB. The foreigner did not understand. He had used USD to buy things, and other than some small shops, he had no problems. The other party was also very happy. Why did this man not accept his money? "No, I want RMB. You don't have RMB? Then I can help you to exchange for RMB. It is slightly higher than the market price." Feng Yu smiled slyly. In this era, it was not easy for foreigners to exchange for RMB. Furthermore, the Americans had always thought that their USD was the currency of the world and did not want to exchange for USD. The blonde foreigner had a mocking expression. So, this man was not here to rent a car. He was here to exchange for USD. 1 United States dollar. How much RMB can you give me? 3.8 RMB. It is higher than the exchange rate, and it is cash. The current exchange rate was around 3.7 RMB. No, 4 RMB. Then we can't agree. This is the International Hotel. There are many foreigners with foreign currencies. Goodbye. Wait, how much can you give us? The blonde foreigner realized that this kid was not easy to deal with. He might be a veteran in this industry. How much USD do you have? The three of them discussed for a while and stretched out their palms. 5,000 United States dollars. No problem. Please follow me to the car. The transaction went smoothly, and both parties were happy. The Americans felt that they had taken advantage of the situation. Moreover, in Huasha, it was more worthwhile to use RMB. They did not have to be cheated every time. Moreover, it was even higher than the exchange rate. Of course, Feng Yu was also very happy. Many people in China were rushing to exchange for USD. Can I exchange US dollars? I guarantee it will be more than 4 RMB. Someone asked him about USD when he was exchanging rubles. Feng Yu continued to get out of the car and loiter in front of the International Hotel. Whenever Feng Yu saw a man in a suit or a rich man, he would go up to strike up a conversation. With just a few words, he could tell if the other party needed to exchange for RMB and if the other party could take out more than 1,000 RMB. By noon, Feng Yu had exchanged more than 50,000 RMB. Most of the money they exchanged were USD and rubles. There were not many people who wanted other currencies, and it was not easy to exchange them. After eating a bowl of noodles in a small noodle shop, the two returned to the vicinity of the International Hotel. Kirilenko was almost done with his business in Huasha and was preparing to go back in 2 days. Kirilenko planned to buy some special products from Huasha and bring them back to his family and friends. In Huasha, foreigners were often cheated. Although the signage said 1 RMB, they thought it was 1 RMB. But later, they found out that it was 10 RMB. 10 RMB is only 1 RMB. Furthermore, they had paid in rubles, but the other party pretended not to know and treated it as RMB. Kirilenko planned to look for the hotel manager to help him exchange some RMB. The bank was too far away, and no one in Washa understood Russian. The man in the dog fur hat looked familiar. Wasn't he the guy who sold him the black bear pelt at a high price? What was he doing here? Was he here to sell his game again? I was just about to look for him. How dare he cheat me? Kirilenko angrily walked up to Feng Yu. Feng Yu finally saw this tall man. His head was very big, and he looked like a fortune teller. Mr. Kirilenko, we meet again. Feng Yu smiled and waved. You are here to sell your game again. The last time you sold me a bear pelt, you sold it for 20,000 rubles. But I found out that you can buy it for 5,000 RMB. You are a liar. Kirilenko grabbed Feng Yu's arm. Don't even think about running away. Feng Yu immediately explained. Bear pelts are also divided into different grades. The one I sold you is a premium grade. 5,000 RMB bear pelt has wormholes, bullet holes, and it is an aged bear pelt. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask around. Is that so? Then I must have misunderstood. You are from a family of hunters. You can kill such a big bear. Have you killed a Siberian tiger before? I want a fresh tiger pelt. Kirilenko let go of Kirilenko's arm and wanted to buy another tiger pelt. A rich fool. This was Feng Yu's new definition of Kirilenko. Kirilenko had only seen a Siberian tiger in the zoo in his previous life. I'm sorry. This animal is priceless. If you want another animal pelt, like mink or fox pelt, I can help you buy it. Quote. Kirilenko shook his head regretfully. If he had another tiger pelt, he would be someone that no one could surpass when he returned to his homeland. Only I, Kirilenko, had hunted a tiger and a black bear. Seems like this dream will never come true. But a black bear pelt is enough for him to brag for the rest of his life. Seeing Kirilenko was about to leave, Feng Yu hurriedly stopped him. Mr. Kirilenko, you should have a lot of rubles with you. I remember you are returning to China soon. Are you thinking of buying some Washa specialties? It is more convenient and cost-effective to use RMB. I can help you exchange for it. I only need to charge a small commission. Quote. It will be higher than the exchange rate for other people. But for a tycoon like Kirilenko, Kirilenko might be able to make some money from him. Kirilenko's eyebrows twitched. He pretended to be calm and said, service fee. I can exchange it at the bank. There is no commission. Quote. The bank also needs it, and there is a long queue. The amount is too high, and it cannot be processed on the same day. More importantly, no one in the bank understands Russian. Mr. Kirilenko, it is more convenient to use RMB in Washa, right? Quote. Kirilenko's words revealed that he wants to exchange for money. This could not be hidden from Feng Yu. How much can you exchange for, and how much commission? Feng Yu was secretly happy. Kirilenko had taken the bait. 1 to 4. The extra will be my commission. I can exchange it for you now if it is within 20,000 rubles. You will have to wait for another 1 or 2 days, but it is not a problem. Quote. A person who can spend 20,000 rubles to buy a bear pelt must be a tycoon. Kirilenko wondered what kind of business Kirilenko's family does. Can I exchange for 20,000 rubles now? Kirilenko looked at Feng Yu from top to bottom and did not see the bag containing the money. Feng Yu pointed to the jeep not far away. It is in the car. Li Shijiang saw Feng Yu pointing at him and quickly waved. This was the secret signal they had agreed on. Okay, I will exchange 20,000 rubles. Wait for a while, I will go up to get the money. Feng Yu clenched his fist. It seems that he will be able to exchange all the money in less than an hour. The transaction went smoothly. Before Kirilenko alighted from the car, he asked Feng Yu where he can buy some local products from Washa. Feng Yu blinked his eyes. Kirilenko was really a good comrade. He wanted to give him money again. Feng Yu asked Li Shijiang in Chinese, Brother Li, can I buy ham, zhonglibao and canned fruits? In this era, these local products were very popular in the Soviet Union. I have a comrade working in the cooperative. I heard that his unit had a batch of goods that were not sold during the Lunar New Year. He is worried. How much does this Russian want? Feng Yu asked and whispered to Li Shijiang, bite your tongue and don't laugh. Act like you are in a difficult position. He wants to buy these local products with the 80,000 RMB he exchanged just now. Quote. If it were not for Feng Yu's reminder, Li Shijiang would have jumped up in excitement. But now, he had a painful look on his face. Feng Yu had bitten his tongue too hard. Is it difficult? Kirilenko asked embarrassedly. It must be difficult. If not, why would the driver have such a painful look on his face? No, We have our ways, but we need his father's help. It will incur some extra expenses. I understand, but you must be quick. I will be flying back to Moscow the day after tomorrow. Here is 1,000 rubles for you. Is it enough? In the Soviet Union, it was common to give gifts to people who needed help. Feng Yu happily said, no problem. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 10 Novelty. Li Shijiang drove them to the cooperative to look for his comrade. Anyway, they had exchanged quite a lot of money. Furthermore, Feng Yu said that they will be able to make a lot of money this time. Feng Yu chatted with Li Shijiang's comrade for a while and found out that the cooperative had a lot of goods in stock, especially canned food, ham sausages, and some other small items. When the manager of the cooperative heard that Li Shijiang brought a Soviet Union businessman to make purchases, he came forward. At first, the manager was very arrogant, especially when the person he was talking to was a teenager. This made him even more annoyed. I said, these goods will be sold in one package. If you want it, then take it. If not, then forget it. Manager Su, it seems that we cannot reach an agreement. Goodbye then. Other than the cooperative, I think we can also buy these goods from the grocery store. Quote. The manager got anxious when he saw the kid leaving with the Soviet Union businessman. Feng Yu was right. Other than the cooperative, they can also buy a lot of goods from the grocery store. At most, they would just have to travel more. The manager only wanted to sell the goods that were not selling well. He did not expect this kid to be so difficult to convince. Was he not afraid of his identity as the manager of the cooperative? Wait, fine, let's remove a few items. Is that fine? No, we need to choose our own items. Also, as this is a long-distance transportation, you need to compensate us for some losses. We are very busy. If you don't make a decision, we will go to the grocery store. Quote. In this era, there was no such thing as discounts. But even if there were losses, it was still a bargain. Fine, fine, fine. But you need to buy more canned food. The canned food was the most overstocked. The popular canned fruits in the past few years were not selling well this year. Now, everyone was giving out malt milk. No problem. Feng Yu went to Kirilenko's side and explained that because of the high demand, the other party needed to transfer the goods elsewhere. That was why the price was slightly higher than the market price. But they will give out some other goods as compensation. Kirilenko was satisfied. If he were to buy the goods himself, he might have to spend a few times more. What's wrong with the slightly higher price? There were still other goods to give out. Other than canned fruits, ham sausages, and Zhonglibao, Kirilenko also picked out some cigarettes, malt cream, and candy. Then, he specified that the gift was a pillow towel embroidered with peonies. After negotiating with manager Su, Feng Yu said that the wastage was too little. For example, canned food is fragile, Zhonglibao is easy to leak, sugar cubes are easy to melt, ham sausages are easy to deteriorate, pillow towels are easy to get damp, and so on. However, manager Su remembered that the other party intended to buy 60,000 yuan worth of goods, so he clenched his teeth and agreed. Anyway, the cooperative is now operating independently and is responsible for its own profits and losses. As long as it makes money, it's fine. If the backlog continued and some of the food expired, he would be held responsible. Wait, Manager Su, you know that we only drive this jeep. We definitely can't fit all these goods. You have to help transport it to the airport warehouse in a truck. Quote. Manager Su began to feel awkward again. How could this little devil be so difficult to deal with? He had already spent a lot of money, but he was still not satisfied. Now, he still wanted to deliver the goods. It's fine if it's in the city, but he actually wants to send it to the airport. The airport is so far away from here, and how much gas will it consume? Feng Yu was negotiating with manager Su inside. Li Shijiang was sitting outside. According to Feng Yu's instructions, he persuaded Kirilenko to try the local wine. Of course, he can't drink as he needs to drive. So, Kirilenko was persuaded by someone who doesn't drink. He drank a bottle of Lao Baigan. His whole body was dizzy. Feng Yu suddenly appeared in front of Kirilenko and said to him in Russian, Mr. Kirilenko, all the goods have been matched. Do you need to count it yourself? Kirilenko waved his hand. He can't even see people's shadows. How can he count it? Then, how does Mr. Kirilenko plan to transport all these things to the airport? I can help you contact a very cheap truck to transport it. Do you need it? Quote. Kirilenko nodded his head. If he doesn't use a truck to transport it, how can he transport it to the airport? This little brother is very good. He is very meticulous. We Soviets never treat our brothers badly. In addition to the transportation fee, we should also give him some hard work. Manager Su copied down Kirilenko's passport number and then transferred a truck over. He organized people to help load the truck. After the goods are delivered to the airport warehouse, Kirilenko can use his passport to handle the delivery. In this era, things are not so troublesome, especially when it comes to foreigners. Feng Yu specifically told him to only write the name and quantity of the goods on the receipt. The amount should not be filled in. This is because old Harry will take it back to China to find someone to reimburse. Manager Su smiled knowingly. Old Harry will also do this. After the payment is settled, Feng Yu specifically mentioned to Manager Su that Li Shijiang's comrade must come to the cooperative. Otherwise, they will go to the grocery store. No matter what, other people helped. Feng Yu, of course, wants to do a favor. He gave the receipt to Kirilenko and then asked Li Shijiang to drive Kirilenko back to the international hotel. Kirilenko asked for Feng Yu's contact information. Feng Yu asked Li Shijiang to leave a telegram address. If this old Harry will come back to China, then maybe he can earn another sum of money. When Kirilenko went upstairs, he gave the rest of the rubles to Feng Yu. He said that he is grateful for Feng Yu's help. Otherwise, his shopping trip will not be so smooth. Feng Yu calmly accepted it. If it was not for him, with Kirilenko's brain, 80,000 RMB can only buy things worth 40,000 RMB. No matter what, Feng Yu bought things worth 60,000 RMB. Including the loss of a few thousand RMB and transportation, it is still considered generous. After Kirilenko entered the hotel, Li Shijiang released his hand that was pinching his thigh. He was trying not to show his happy expression. His thigh is almost purple from the pinching. Xiao Yu, you made a lot of money this time. Yes, we made a lot of money. This time we made about 30,000 RMB. We will split it in half. Quote. No, no, no. I will drive back and forth. Furthermore, you are the one who came up with this idea. You even worked for more than an hour. I cannot accept this money. Li Shijiang hurriedly waved his hand. Feng Yu laughed. Brother Li, in another 2 years, you will be my brother-in-law. Do you still need to be so calculative? Also, if you did not tell me that the cooperative's products are not selling well, I will not get such a big loss. These are what you deserve. Furthermore, to marry my sister, you will have to buy a big house. If you have a child in the future, you will need at least a 3-bedroom house. That will cost tens of thousands. Quote. When talking about Feng Danying, Li Shijiang laughed. Yes, he wants to buy a big house. He wants his family to live a good life. Then I will take 5,000 RMB. I don't want more. Up to you. Wait here, I will continue to look for foreigners to exchange for money. Initially, Feng Yu only had less than 10,000 RMB with him. But he had just earned 20,000 RMB from Kirilenko. He still needs Feng Yu to work for a while. An hour later, both of them left in their car. At this time, all their RMB had been changed to rubles and USD. This time, they will be able to earn at least 10,000 RMB in a few days. On the way home, Li Shijiang's mouth was wide open. Feng Yu is also excited. The money he can use will soon exceed 130,000 RMB. He wants to turn this money into 1.3 million RMB within a year. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 11 Novelty. It is only 4 p.m. but the sky is already dark. Luckily, there is a car and Feng Yu can reach Teacher Sun's house before dinner. Teacher Sun is also very happy that Feng Yu can come over to visit him. Although this child is usually a little listless, he is still very hardworking in his studies. It is just that his Russian and mathematics are not good. He might not be able to get into the city high school, but there is still hope for him to get into the county high school. After declining Teacher Sun's invitation to stay for dinner, Feng Yu followed Li Shijiang back to Li's house. After dinner, Li Shijiang went out to work. Tomorrow afternoon, Feng Yu will take the bus back to the farm. He still has time in the morning. Maybe he can exchange some foreign currency at the international hotel. When Li Shijiang returned, it is already 10 p.m. The foreign currency he brought out had been exchanged for more than 50,000 RMB. Seeing their son back, Li Shijiang's parents sleep peacefully. Feng Yu pulled Li Shijiang to continue to brainwash him. Brother Li, this money is easy to earn, right? Li Shijiang nodded. You are smart. I do not study much and do not know much. If I continue to do this, I can earn more in a month than I earn in a year. Quote. There are more profitable things. Do you want to do it? More profitable things. Li Shizheng's breathing becomes more rapid. Treasury bonds. Xiao Yu, you always talk to me about treasury bonds, treasury bonds. But I know more about treasury bonds than you. That is not profitable and cannot be used as money. Before maturity, you cannot exchange it at the bank. How are you going to make money? Li Shizheng was disappointed when he heard Li Shizheng talking about treasury bonds. Not only him, everyone in his unit and his parents' unit were forced to buy treasury bonds. But they did not earn a single cent from the bonds. They said that they will pay interest in the future, but who knows what will happen in the future. Brother Li, you don't read the newspaper. The newspaper said that treasury bonds will be allowed to be traded, just like other commodities. A 10 RMB treasury bond might become 11 RMB. Do you think it is profitable? Quote. Li Shizheng shook his head. I still have not made money from foreign currencies. Feng Yu replied. You think it is so easy to exchange foreign currencies? Not to mention whether this is legal, even if no one is in charge, how long can you do this? Also, do you know foreign languages? If I go back to the farm, what will you do? Besides, the people at the International Hotel have been staring at us today. If I go there tomorrow, they will kick us out. Quote. Li Shizheng was stunned. He couldn't do such a profitable thing anymore. Seeing Li Shizheng kept quiet, Feng Yu continued. Think about it, isn't the interest on treasury bonds higher than banks? That's right. It's even higher than the fixed term, but it's not convenient to turn over the money. I've already told you that it will be publicly traded soon. Think about it, if you sell a 10 RMB treasury bond for 9 RMB, will you sell it? Quote. Sell. I can't afford to wait for too long. Li Na said. That's right. Many people have the same idea as you. The price of treasury bonds will fall from 10 RMB to 9 RMB. Some people have a lot of money and do not need it urgently. They want to buy treasury bonds but cannot get them. They will start to buy treasury bonds at a higher price. A 10 RMB treasury bond will become 11 RMB. Quote. Impossible. Buying a 10 RMB treasury bond for 11 RMB. Isn't that a fool? The interest on treasury bonds might not be so high. Li Shizheng said. He does not believe that anyone will buy treasury bonds at such a high price. I'm just making an example. But 10 RMB and 10 RMB, there will be people buying it, right? That's about right, but will there really be people buying it? Also, is treasury bonds allowed to be traded? Quote. Teacher Sun said that he has a classmate in Beijing. He has insider information. When the time comes, we'll earn the price difference. 10 yuan will become 11 yuan after this round trip. 100,000 RMB will become 110,000 RMB. Teacher Sun was used as a shield by Feng Yu. Li Shizheng's eyes widen. 100,000 RMB will become 110,000 RMB. His monthly salary is less than 100 RMB. How can he earn so much money? Xiao Yu, what should I do? Buy treasury bonds. Go to colleagues and friends to buy treasury bonds. Give them 9.50 RMB for 10 RMB bonds. Many of them are forced to buy treasury bonds. If they can exchange it for cash, they will definitely be willing. Remember, buy as much as you can. Trading will be allowed in 2 months. If you want to buy treasury bonds, they will not sell anymore. Quote. You mean, we will buy all our money in treasury bonds? What if the information is wrong? Why don't we buy 10,000 RMB bonds first? Li Shizheng does not dare to gamble. If the information is wrong, these treasury bonds will not be usable for a few years. His and Feng family's money will be wasted in it. Even if you don't believe me, you should believe in my teacher. What he said is definitely right. He was the one who told me about the foreign currency exchange. Just tell me, how much money did we earn from this? If you can borrow money to buy treasury bonds, I guarantee you will earn a lot. Quote. Feng Yu once again used Teacher Sun's name. This name is really useful. Li Shizheng gritted his teeth and nodded in agreement. The next morning, Li Shizheng sent Feng Yu to the International Hotel and then drove away. He tried to exchange some foreign currency in the morning. Through word of mouth, many people know that Li Shizheng is capable and can get foreign currency. Some people even took the initiative to look for him. Feng Yu continued to exchange foreign currency at the entrance of the International Hotel. With his silver tongue, he quickly exchanged more than 40,000 RMB out of 50,000 RMB. At the same time, he also packed some rubles and USD in his bag. Because he is alone this time, Feng Yu was afraid of accidents and did not dare to leave the entrance of the international hotel. If he keeps loitering at the entrance of the international hotel, he will be noticed by the people inside. There are a lot of foreign guests here. Nothing must happen, the guard reported to the manager. Yu Chunyuan came out and saw Feng Yu exchanging foreign currency with the foreign guests. He is very angry. There are often foreigners looking for him to exchange foreign currency at the international hotel, and he will secretly exchange it with some leaders. But now, he is being poached by a kid. Yu Chunyuan grabbed Feng Yu's sleeves. Who allowed you to exchange foreign currency with foreign guests here? I will ask the guards to arrest you. Quote. Sigh, sure enough, this matter still touches other people's interests. Feng Yu smiled embarrassedly. Manager Yu, I am also helping my cousin to exchange. Their leader is going overseas for an inspection trip next month and I want to get some foreign currency to buy some souvenirs. I have already exchanged and will leave now. I promise I will not come back again. Quote. Yu Chunyuan looked suspiciously at Feng Yu's bag. It seems that there is a lot of money in it. But he does not want to get a bad reputation for bullying a kid. He can only warn Li Shijiang again, forget it this time. If you need, you can go to the bank to apply. If I see you pestering the foreign guests again, I will send you to the police station. Quote. Feng Yu nodded and left. An hour later, Li Shijiang drove over to pick him up. When he heard that the international hotel does not allow them to pester the foreign guests, he was also very disappointed. This is a fast way to make money. Brother Li, don't be discouraged. Treasury bonds can last for 1 or 2 years. Here, after all these foreign currencies are converted to RMB, you can start to collect treasury bonds. When you are allowed to trade, I guarantee that we will make a lot of money. You will not let my sister and father down, right? Quote. Li Shijiang showed a determined look. Yes, I will definitely not let them down. From tomorrow onwards, I will start collecting treasury bonds. Quote. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 12 Novelty. When Feng Yu came back, Feng Xingtai was looking forward to it. When no one is looking, he asked Feng Yu when he will get the money back and how much will he earn this time. Feng Yu braced himself and said, Dad, I used all the money to buy treasury bonds. Then he shrunk his neck and closed his eyes. What did you say? You bought treasury bonds? More than 100,000 RMB and you used it to buy treasury bonds? Did that brat Li Shijiang trick you into buying it? Quote. Feng Xingtai's blood rushed to his brain. How can he plant crops in spring? He raised his hand but did not touch his son's face. I did not get beaten up this time. Dad, I heard this from my teacher in Bing City. Treasury bonds are going to be publicly traded. This is all my idea and has nothing to do with Brother Li. Think about it, Brother Li can buy 10 RMB treasury bonds for 9.50 RMB and 100 RMB treasury bonds for 95 RMB. After the trading is allowed, these treasury bonds can bring us tens of thousands of RMB in profits. Li Shijiang said. Feng Xingtai sighed. Son, I did not care about you enough in the past. You can speak foreign languages so well and can communicate with the Russians. I don't know about all these. You let Xiao Li exchange foreign currencies with you and you can indeed make money. Now you are talking about buying treasury bonds. I don't really understand, but I believe you. Quote. Dad, you really believe me? Sigh, what else can I do if I don't believe you? If I beat you up, can you get the money back? Xiao Li is a good person and his family is not bad. Your sister also likes him. If I go and get the money back, what will Xiao Li's family think of us? Treasury bonds then. When we have no money, we can still help. Feng Xingtai still does not believe his father. Dad, is our family in urgent need of money now? Feng Yu asked cautiously. Your sister is going to the hospital for her internship and you are about to start school. All of these need money. Also, spring is coming and we need to start farming, preparing seeds and fertilizers. All of these need money. You are a prodigal son. I am so angry. Quote. The more Feng Xingtai said, the angrier he gets. The anger that he suppressed with great difficulty is about to explode. Dad, there's still time, Treasury bonds will start trading in April and it will not delay us from buying seeds and fertilizers. As for my tuition and accommodation fees, I'll just owe them for now. I'll pay them in 2 months. You don't have to worry about my sister. Brother Li will definitely leave some money for her. It will be enough for her to use for 2 months. Quote. That better be the case. You have to hide this from your mother. If she finds out, you'll be whipped to death by the willow twig. I'll think of a way to borrow some money for your sisters and yours. Quote. Old Feng, Xiao Yu, what are you two whispering about? Do you still want to eat? I'm coming, Mom, I'm coming. Dannying will start her internship in 2 days. Whether she can stay in a big hospital or not will depend on this internship. Old Feng, why don't we give Dannying some money and let her give some gifts to the leaders? Zhang Muhua said while eating. Mom, what gift? It's all evil. The hospital I'm interning at is short of nurses. I graduated from nursing school. Why can't I stay? Quote. That's right, Mom, there's no need for that. It's better if that hospital does not let my sister stay. In the future, I will open a hospital for my sister and let her be the director. It's much better than being a nurse. Feng Yu said while stuffing rice into his mouth. Slap. Zhang Muhua knocked on Feng Yu's head with chopsticks. You are just like your father. You only know how to brag. Open a hospital. Take our village's clinic for example. Do you know how much the things there cost? Do you know how many years Auntie Zhao had to work in the hospital to get this opportunity? Quote. Feng Yu curled his lips. It's just a hospital. It won't take long. 3 years later, he will be able to open it. When that time comes, he will poach some experienced doctors and nurses from big hospitals and let them work for his sister. Old Feng, I'm talking to you. Why are you not saying anything? I also think that it's not necessary. Let's wait for a while. It's better to give gifts before the internship is over. Feng Xingtai also wants his daughter to give gifts, but he needs to have money first. What do you know? If we give gifts now, we will be assigned to a good department. I heard from Sister Zhao that some nurses often work night shifts. Some even work in the emergency room. They are very tired. It's best if they are assigned to the dental department. There's nothing much to do in the day. It's easy and there won't be any mistakes. Quote. Feng Danying looked at her father. She also does not want to go to the emergency room and also does not want to work night shifts. She will not have time to meet Li Shijiang. Feng Xingtai looked at Feng Yu. What to do? All the money is gone. If your mother goes to get the passbook later, this matter will be exposed. Cough. Mum, sister, you don't have to worry about this. Brother Li told me that he had already contacted the orthopedic department where my sister is interning. All she needs to do is to pass some splints and bandages. It's very easy. The number of people going to the orthopedic department is less than the dental department. Quote. Sigh. One lie after another. I need to call Brother Li at night and ask him to focus on buying treasury bonds at the hospital where my sister is interning. Buying at a low price should be able to get the hospital's leader to open the back door. In this era, those who can exchange treasury bonds for money are all capable people. Really, I didn't know that Xiao Li is so meticulous. I am relieved. Feng Yu flattered his mother. Mum, my sister's taste in choosing a partner is as good as yours. Look at this sentence. He praised the 3 people in the family and Li Shijiang. Sure enough, everyone beamed with joy. Oh yes, old Feng, big sister's family wants to borrow some money to buy a 55 horsepower tractor. We agreed to give it to her in autumn after the grain sales. Feng Xingtai braced himself and asked, how much do you want to borrow? 5,000. Tisk. Feng Xingtai gritted his teeth. He felt his head is about to explode. If he still has the money, not to mention 5,000, even if big sister's family wants to borrow 10,000, he can still afford it. But now, his son and son-in-law had exchanged the money for treasury bonds. How can he ask for it? Feng Yu also knew that his father wants to hand him over. At this time, the best way is to confess. If Big Aunt's family wants to borrow money, let them wait for another 2 months. Mum, I need to tell you something. Zhang Muhua looked at her husband and son. Both of them had been communicating with their eyes for a long time. It is obvious that they are hiding something from her. What's the matter? Let Big Aunt wait for 1 or 2 months. Anyway, the tractor can't be used now and will age. Why not buy it 2 months later? It will not delay the sowing of the land. Quote. Bang. Zhang Muhua banged the table. Why are you two sneaking around? Just now you two refused to let your sister spend some money, and now you come out to stop us. Don't tell me. Zhang Muhua put down her chopsticks and ran into the house. After searching for a long time, the passbook is gone. There is more than 20,000 RMB in the passbook. Where is the money? Where did the two of you put the passbook? Zhang Muhua is furious. What did the two of them do behind her back? They used more than 20,000 RMB just like that. Mum, don't be anxious. Did you lose the money? No, I used it. Jong Moo-hua paused for a moment and then stood up suddenly. She picked up the feather duster hanging on the wall. You wastrel. How dare you steal our money? I will beat you to death. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 13 Novelty. After the commotion, the Feng family sat down again for a friendly negotiation. Of course, the price was Feng Yu had several red bruises on his body. Humph, I still think that Xiao Li is not bad. In the end, he is just an idiot. He is already an adult and yet he listened to Xiao Yu's nonsense. How old is Xiao Yu? What can he learn in school? Do you think treasury bonds can make money? Who else can make money from treasury bonds? Even if he can make money, he is just speculating. Jong Moo-hua was still angry but she could not bear to scold her son. She started to scold Li Shijiang. Mum, Shijiang was also cheated by Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu said that this is Dad's idea. How can Shijiang not do it? Feng Danying tried to defend herself. Hurry up and make a phone call to get the money back. Mum, please believe me this time. This will surely make money. Even Teacher Sun said it is possible. Besides, this is not speculation. The newspaper also said that we need to develop a planned commodity economy. This is a commodity economy. Li Shijiang said. Feng Yu said some terms that his mother could not understand and finally managed to suppress his mother's anger. But in the end, he still could not convince his mother. She promised to make a phone call immediately and leave at least 10,000 RMB. On the way to the company headquarters to make the phone call, Feng Danying was still complaining to Feng Yu, why do you push everything to Shijiang? You are my sister and you are not married yet. Why are you helping outsiders? Besides, you also saw that brother Li is involved in this. Mom and Dad will not be too angry. Also, this will definitely make money. During the summer, Dad will buy you a big house in Bing City. Quote. Anyway, you are the most scheming. Your brother Li is an honest person. Alright, I'll be the worst. You and brother Li can meet your parents so quickly. It is all because of me. Feng Yu muttered. When they reached the company headquarters, before they could make a phone call, the phone rang. It was Li Shijiang. Hello, brother Li, we haven't seen each other for a few days and you are calling my sister. Feng Yu joked. Xiao Yu, I am actually looking for you. I realize that treasury bonds are more profitable than what you said. Li Shijiang said. Huh, what does he mean? Treasury bonds can make money now. It turns out that Feng Yu only considered the issue of treasury bonds and did not consider the issue of the maturity of treasury bonds. Many people have 5 RMB, 10 RMB treasury bonds in their hands, and some of them have matured. Currently, most of the treasury bonds have a maturity of 5 years and the interest rate is 4% per year. That is to say, a 10 RMB treasury bond can be exchanged for 12 RMB. Just like what Li Shijiang had said, there were many problems during the issuance of treasury bonds. Later on, they were forced to assign the problems to the government agencies and enterprises. He had no choice but to buy it. It would be deducted from his salary. Many people had forgotten that they still have treasury bonds with them. When they heard that Li Shijiang was collecting treasury bonds, they took them out from their houses. Many of them had matured treasury bonds. Many people felt that it was troublesome to go to the bank and wait in line for only 2 yuan. In particular, the ones who had been allocated the salary were mainly the cadres. Now that their salaries had increased a little, they were not short of that 1 or 2 yuan. When Li Shijiang came to collect treasury bonds, they asked around and found out that it was not worth it to collect 9.50 RMB for 10 RMB bonds. Li Shijiang did not receive much. But when Li Shijiang saw some matured treasury bonds that could be exchanged at the bank, he bought them at the original price. If it was 10 RMB, he would give 10 RMB to the bank and he could exchange it for 12 RMB. But most people still felt that it was a loss. If it was 10 RMB, you should at least give 11 RMB, right? Li Shijiang felt that it was better to make money. If it was 11 RMB, it could be exchanged for 12 RMB. If it was 110,000 RMB, it could be exchanged for 120,000 RMB. Li Shijiang called Feng Yu to ask if this was possible. He felt that there was no need to wait until the treasury bonds were publicly traded. Feng Yu was stunned. He did not expect Li Shijiang to be more flexible than he thought. Of course, this business can be done. In his previous life, he had heard of someone who specialized in this business. This was to collect matured treasury bonds from people. If it was 10 RMB, he would give 11 RMB and keep it for interest. However, this required a lot of capital, and there was no rush to use it. But what Feng Yu did not expect was that there were treasury bonds that matured and some people did not know to change. There were also people who knew that it was due, but they were too lazy to go to the bank to queue up. If they delayed work hours, the deduction would be much more than this 1 yuan. Brother Li, you really are a genius. Those maturing within 3 months can be increased. Not more than 3 months. Don't worry about the interest. When the treasury bonds can be publicly traded, I guarantee that we will earn thousands of RMB every day. Quote. What? You can earn thousands every day? Doesn't that mean 30,000 a month and 300,000 a year? Li Shijiang was so excited that his hands began to tremble. If he could earn more than 300,000 yuan a year, it would be equivalent to his salary for the rest of his life. Actually, Feng Yu was talking about the amount of money Li Shijiang could earn. Feng Yu could earn at least 1 million RMB. However, he had to wait for many cities to open up. Otherwise, how could there be a price difference if there was only one city's market? Brother Li, how many treasury bonds did you exchange today? Li Shijiang asked. Only slightly more than 1,000. Feng Yu was speechless. Only slightly more than 1,000 a day. How long will it take to exchange for more than 100,000? Why is it so little? Li Shijiang asked. I can't help it. Most of them are 5 and 10 RMB bonds. 50 and 100 RMB bonds are rare. I was alone and rode a bicycle around in the cold. Li Shijiang said. The jeep that Li Shijiang borrowed had been returned. His father was afraid that people would talk about him if he used it for too long. Tisk, Brother Li, you can't do it alone. This is not exchanging foreign currency. No one can exchange more than 1,000 at one time. You are only charging 5 and 10 RMB per household. How are you going to earn money? Brother Li, do you have any trustworthy friends? If they have time and energy, ask them to help you exchange treasury bonds. They will be paid 100 RMB a month. Quote. 100 RMB. My salary is only slightly more than 80 RMB a month. Li Shijiang felt that the salary was too high. Brother Li, you also said that you still need to work. How do you have time to do this? If you skip work every day, it will be hard for you to answer to the leaders. Ask them to help you exchange treasury bonds from door to door. The rules are still the same. If you can exchange within 3 months, you can give them a higher price. If it is more than 3 months, it will be the same price. If it is more than 1 year, it will only be 95%. Quote. All right, behind my house is the motor factory's dormitory. There are many 17 to 18-year-olds who are not working. They only know how to wander around. I will ask them to help me exchange treasury bonds. 100 RMB a month. They will definitely do it. Quote. Li Shijiang was getting more and more excited. He had started working for less than a year and was still the lowest ranked follower. He did not expect that he would be able to lead a few followers after starting a small business. Alright, Brother Li, you are in charge here. Hey, sis, don't snatch the phone. I am not finished yet. Quote. Extraordinary Genius _Chapter 14 _Novelty. Feng Danying whispered sweet nothings to Li Shijiang for another 5 minutes and then passed the phone to Feng Yu. She told Feng Yu that he must get at least 10,000 RMB back, or else his mother will not let him off. Feng Yu was speechless. Both of you had been chatting for so long, why didn't you say anything? Feng Yu helplessly told Li Shijiang to remit 10,000 RMB back. Although it will make them earn less, it will not affect them too much. But what Feng Yu did not expect was that Li Shijiang knew that the Feng family will withdraw 10,000 RMB and thought that there is still a risk. So, he also withdrew 5,000 RMB. If there is an accident, he will not lose everything. Back home, Feng Yu only reported the good news and not the bad news. He said that the money at home has increased by a few thousand RMB and that Li Shijiang will remit 10,000 RMB to the post office tomorrow. He promised that the remittance will reach the post office within 3 days and it will not delay his aunt's family from buying a tractor. What about the rest of the money? Of course, the rest of the money is still in Li Shijiang's hands. This is more profitable than farming. Feng Yu even persuaded his parents to give up farming. Just based on the treasury bonds business, they can earn at least 100,000 RMB a year. How can farming make so much money? Besides, farming is hard and tiring. It is not as comfortable as farming. They can just be a boss and let others run errands for them. But his parents rejected. First, it is because Feng Yu is still studying at the farm. Second, they feel that even if they fail, at least they still have land and their family will not be in too much trouble. Third, they are used to living on the farm and do not want to move. But they were moved by Feng Yu's vision. He said that he can buy a few big houses and a small car in the city within a year. Even if he fails, at least he still has the treasury bonds. He just needs to wait for a few years before he can exchange them for money. Luckily, Feng Yu had helped his clients in his previous life. To deal with these farmers, as long as they believe that they can make a lot of money, they will be more willing to invest than ordinary people. Feng Yu also saw his colleagues tricking some retired old men and women to invest. After the investment fails, they can push all the responsibility to the other party. He despises this kind of people. 10,000 yuan was quickly received. Her mother transferred 5,000 yuan to her aunt, and the rest was saved for future use. 1 week later, Feng Danying returned to Bing City. Li Shijiang had already contacted the hospital for her internship. The deputy director of this hospital was his father's old comrade in arms. When he heard that she was his comrade-in-arms daughter-in-law and a student of the city's nursing school, he patted his chest and promised that as long as she knew how to administer injections, she would definitely be able to stay. Feng Danying only brought 30 RMB with her to Bing City. In Bing City, if Feng Yu needed money, he could look for Li Shijiang. The Feng family was the wealthiest there. Feng Yu was grounded at home during this period of time. He had to do his homework, read, and study. Feng Xingtai had declared, "If you can't get into a high school in the city this year, I'll break your legs." Other than Wen Dongjun coming to play with him twice, Feng Yu did not leave his house for the rest of the time. Feng Yu accepted his fate. He had been studying physics, chemistry, and biology at home. He had forgotten most of these things, but he was still able to learn faster than the other students. The reason why Wen Dongjun only came to look for him twice was because he was pestered by Feng Yu to ask him physics questions. Who would be willing to answer questions during the winter break? His parents were very satisfied with Feng Yu's self-awareness. Look, this kid was going all out. Not only he was fluent in foreign languages, but he was also hardworking in his studies. This year, he was going to get into a high school in the city, and a few years later, he would go to university. School started just after the 15th day of the Lunar New Year. Feng Yu's family lived in the village. Although it was not far from the farm, it was still more than half an hour by bike. His family's financial situation was not bad, so he chose to stay in school. On the first day of school, Feng Xingtai pulled the rope, and the number 55 bus rumbled to life. On this day, there were a total of 19 primary and secondary school students. All of them would take his family's bus to the farm. Every one of them had a sack with bedding in it, and a wooden box, which could be placed under the bed, with some clothes in it. The school was the same as the government. Every week, there would be one day off on Sunday. The students could go home or not. Anyway, in this era, the school would not send a bus to pick them up. The back of the bus was full of people. Many of them were going to the farm to play or run errands. This bus was not for free. The village had to pay for it at the end of the year. Every year, there would be a tractor to pick up the students. This year, it was Feng Xingtai's turn. Feng Yu was very satisfied. This was because he could sit in the driver's seat. He did not need to stand on the back of the bus to feel the cold wind. Of course, Wen Dongjun, who was the captain's son and Feng Yu's good friend, was also sitting in the driver's seat. The temperature was -10 degrees Celsius. If one were to feel the cold wind, one's hair would be covered with frost. Less than 20 minutes later, the bus stopped at the turntable. Those who wanted to hitch a ride got off the back of the bus and made an appointment with Feng Xingtai to go back. If they could hitch a ride, they should save on the bus fares. At the primary school, Feng Yu and the rest helped the students to carry their luggage to the dormitory and lay it on the bed. Feng Xingtai was very satisfied when he saw his son quickly making the bed for a child. Look, my son is so agile. He takes after me. He had forgotten that he does not do any housework at home. It was his wife who does all the housework. Half an hour later, they climbed up the bus and arrived at the junior high school. There were no parents sending the students to the school. All the students helped each other to unload their luggage and carry it to the second floor. The dormitory was a 3-story building. It was one of the few buildings in the farm. The female students lived on the 3rd floor, the male students lived on the 2nd floor, and the teacher's dormitory was on the 1st floor. Feng Xingtai was carrying a sack of luggage in one hand. Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun were carrying their own suitcases and school bags. They followed behind easily. Feng Yu was glad when he saw his classmates carrying their luggage up the stairs. Luckily, his father was here to help him. Luckily, his father was here to help with the school bus. There were 8 students in a dormitory, and they were allocated according to their grade, class, and company. Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun were in the same dormitory, and Wen Dongjun was sleeping below Feng Yu. All the students in this dormitory were from the same class, but they were from 3 companies. Under normal circumstances, the relationship between the companies would be better. Their company was the first to arrive, and the rest of the students were not back yet. Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun quickly took out their luggage and placed it on the bed. But they did not open their bags. Everyone was back, and there was still a need to do some cleaning. Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun had already covered their blankets, and the white sheets were laid out. It was very simple. After locking the door, Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun went to the other dormitories to look for the rest of the students. There was nothing good to eat in the school's cafeteria. Feng Xingtai wanted to bring them out for lunch. Anyway, there were only 7 boys in the school. Feng Yu drove away from the school and found a small restaurant. He ordered a table full of dishes. When the bill was paid, it was less than 20 RMB. After the bill was paid, Feng Xingtai left. Wen Dongjun wiped his mouth. We are going to the video hall to watch videos in the afternoon. Who is going? Extraordinary Genius Chapter 15 Novelty. In this era, living in school was very boring. There were no mobile phones, internet cafes, and even no TV. Other than going to school, they would be playing poker in the dormitory. But ever since a classmate came back and told them that there was a video lounge near their school, they went to the video lounge to watch videos. This was their happiest time. Feng Yu's small farm had a cinema, but it only screened domestic movies during holidays. There were not many people watching it. The cinema's biggest use was as the farm's auditorium. Usually, all the parties will be held there. Feng Yu had also gone to the cinema to watch movies a few times. But those movies were organized by the school, and it was not interesting at all. He only remembered the classic line, "Learn mathematics, physics and chemistry, and you will not be afraid to travel the world." So, those who really wanted to watch movies would go to the video lounge. 17-inch color TV, 3 to 4 rows of seats, 10 cents per person, and can watch for 3 hours. That's about 2 movies. Feng Yu and the rest had visited a few times in the past. It was the busy farming season, and they did not go home on Sundays. This time, everyone agreed to Wen Dongjun's suggestion. School had just started, and everyone had pocket money given by their families. Seeing everyone's excitement, Feng Yu was also interested. This era was the era when Hong Kong's martial arts movies and police movies were popular. Of course, the God of Gamblers series was also starting to shine. Many Hong Kong's classic movies were hard to find on the internet in the future. But now, almost every video lounge had them. In the video lounge, almost 80% of the movies were from Hong Kong. The rest were movies from Europe, America, Southeast Asia and other regions, as well as locally produced movies. Almost no one watched locally produced movies. Other than the 3 movies in the day, the video lounge also screened 2 movies at night. But the second movie was not for kids. This was not the most profitable part of the video lounge. The most profitable part was video cassette rental. Now that living conditions had improved, some families had bought video cassette players. But after watching the cassette once, it was useless. So, not many people chose to buy cassette players. Most of them rented cassette players. When they entered the video lounge, the third show had just started. It was a classic police movie, True Colors. Everyone paid and squeezed in the first row. The nearer the TV, the better the view. The owner of the video lounge was sitting at the entrance, holding a Dragon and Tiger Gate comic. He had watched these movies at least dozens of times, so he had no interest in them at all. Feng Yu went to buy 50 cents worth of melon seeds and distributed them to everyone. They watched as they ate. Although he had watched this movie several times in his previous life, he still found it very enjoyable to watch it now. The door was opened, and a gust of cold wind blew in. Feng Yu glanced around and saw 3 boys around 17 or 18 years old walking in. F***ck, you want us to do a thorough cleaning at the start of the semester. I won't do it. Listen to me, right? Come out and watch the video. Let the others do the cleaning. Quote. Ha ha ha, I'll get 2 more bottles of wine when I get back. I'll have a drink tonight. At night, I'll go out to eat later and come back to watch the video at night. It's better at night, much better than this. Quote. The three of them casually chatted as they paid. The owner of the video parlor tore off a ticket the size of a penny from a clip. There was a time slot on it. He let them in to watch the video while he lowered his head to look at the comic. You guys, go to the back. Wen Dongjun looked at the owner and ignored him. We are here first. Why should we go to the back? F***ck, I'm talking to you brats. Didn't you hear me? Wen Dongjun stood up. We are here first. Why should we let you go? If you want to watch, go to the back or go to another place. Quote. This brat is quite daring. You dare to talk to me like this? Are you looking for a beating? Quote. The owner of the video parlor looked at the three of them. Stop fooling around and watch the video carefully. If not, I will chase all of you out. In this era, those who can open a video parlor are all hooligans. If not, they will not be able to suppress those troublemakers. Brother Wong, don't interfere. I will teach this brat a lesson. If you want to fight, go out and fight. You all can't afford to compensate me if you damage my shop. The owner of the video parlor knew these three brats and did not want to interfere. Feng Yu looked at them. This is bad. A fight is about to break out. These three brats were bigger than them. They were tall and strong. Although there were 7 of them, they will be at a disadvantage if they fight. But if they surrender now, they might be bullied by them. Feng Yu looked at the age of these three brats and remembered what they said just now. He was sure that these three brats were not working. Then at this age, they must be from the farm's vocational school. Thinking of this, Feng Yu thought of a way to deal with these three brats. My uncle is Director Shu from the vocational school's academic affairs office. The three of you are from the vocational school, right? Feng Yu stood up. He had the feeling of, my father is Li Gang, in the future. Director Shu, which Director Shu? One of the young men asked. He was afraid that this kid was just scaring him. Shu Lianglu, Director Shu. How many Director Shu are there in your vocational school? Feng Yu retorted. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you are Director Shu's nephew. Are these your classmates? It was all a misunderstanding. I was just joking. Brother Wong, give me 10 bottles of soft drinks. Quote. The soft drinks were delivered, and the three boys stuffed a bottle into Feng Yu's hands. They then sat in the last row and did not dare to say a word. This Director Shu will be transferred to the farm's secondary school to be the principal 2 years later. That's why Feng Yu knew about him. In this era, the tuition for the vocational school was not cheap, and the academic affairs office's director had the authority to expel students. If the three of them beat up the nephew of the academic affairs office's director, even if they were not expelled, they would be given demerit points. After they graduate, they would not be able to enter any unit in the farm. Other people did not know that Feng Yu had an uncle who was the academic affairs office's director in the vocational school. But Wen Dongjun knew that there was no such thing. But to be able to fool those three brats once and earn a bottle of soft drinks for each of them, it felt great. After watching the 2 movies, Feng Yu and the rest stood up and prepared to go back to school. Everyone in the dormitory should be back, and they can go back to play poker. At the same time, they can chat about the interesting things during the winter holidays. Bro, let's go. Let's go to the bar tonight. We can watch the videos after drinking. It's my treat. The movies at night are better. One of the boys invited Dong Shuibing. No, I need to go back to school. The teacher will check the dormitory at night. Although Feng Yu was interested in the movies at night, he will not watch it at this age. He will also not watch it with them. But Wen Dongjun was attracted by the movies. At this age, he was curious about these movies. He wanted to watch it, but he could not find the opportunity. Xiao Yu, stay and watch. Feng Yu quickly shook his head and whispered, let's go. There will be a lot of people at the vocational school at night. If we are found out, we will be beaten to death. Wen Dongjun reluctantly left with Feng Yu. But on the way back to school, he kept discussing with Feng Yu that they should go to another video hall to avoid bumping into them. Feng Yu sighed. Impulsive youth. The few of you, stop right there. Extraordinary Genius _chapter 16 _novelty. Feng Yu turned around and saw that it was the 3 boys from the video hall. Damn, his lie just now was exposed. Run. The 7 of them ran towards the school. If they could run into the school grounds, then the 3 boys would not dare to touch them. They will be found. Damn, catch them, how dare they lie to us. The 3 boys chased after them while Feng Yu and the rest ran for their lives. After Feng Yu and the rest left, the 3 boys met a few classmates. One of them was Director Shu's relative. After chatting with them, they found out that Director Shu only has 3 brothers and no sisters. How could he have a nephew? Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun ran fast, but the other 5 boys were caught within 100 meters. This matter was started by Wen Dongjun. Feng Yu had lied to the 3 of them, and they could not continue to run. If not, they would not be able to return to the village. Let them go. If you have any problems, come at me. Wen Dongjun patted his chest confidently. Okay, I did not want to do anything to them. But they had drunk the soda. I will pay, Feng Yu said. Good, but do we need money for those few bottles of soda? Since you are willing to pay, then let's pay. 1 bottle of soda is 1 RMB. 10 bottles of soda is 10 RMB. If you can't pay, then we will be punching you. Quote. Damn, 5 cents for a big bottle of soda, and you say it is 1 RMB. This is clearly a scam. The other boys might not be able to pay, but Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun had 10 RMB notes in their pockets. Let them go first. I will pay. Feng Yu gritted his teeth and said. Oh, they are really rich. Fine, they can go first, but we still want to drink tonight, and we do not have enough money. The 3 boys saw that these 2 boys were from rich families. They agreed to pay 10 RMB without hesitation. They might as well ask for more. This is robbery. You will be sentenced for robbery. Wen Dongjun shouted. Robbery? Who saw it? Do you have any evidence? This is the compensation you are giving us willingly. Quote. Ha ha ha, I said they owe us. It was only right and proper to pay one's debts. You guys, clean your pockets and get lost. Quote. These 3 people were planning to rob them of all the money in their pockets, not leaving a single cent behind. Not far away, a few high school students passed by. When they saw Feng Yu and the rest were blocked by 3 vocational school students, they did not come over to help. Instead, they turned around and ran away. Smoking, drinking and fighting are common occurrences in the vocational school. If they get too close to them, they might get blackmailed or get beaten up. Just when Feng Yu was about to reject them, the 3 vocational school students took out folding knives from their pockets and swung them in front of Feng Yu and Feng Yu. Hurry up, we're still waiting to drink. Should we help you bleed a little? Other than Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun, the rest of the students took out their money from their pockets. Some were 1 RMB, and some were a few cents. All the money was given to the 3 vocational school students. Seeing the vocational school students waving their hands, the 5 of them hesitated for a moment and quickly ran away. Feng Yu did not blame them. It's normal for kids to be timid. He was thinking about how to protect his money and escape from these 3 students. He was not sure if they understood what he was thinking and if they knew to call a teacher. They were only a few hundred meters away from the school. If the teacher came by on a bicycle, he could still save them. The 2 of you, what are you waiting for? Do you want me to help you? No, Pa. Wen Dongjun only said half a sentence, and his face was slapped. Feng Yu's eyelids twitched, and the hatred in his heart deepened. He was not thinking about how to escape from these 3 students. He was thinking about how to teach them a lesson. You dare to hit me? My dad is the captain of the 6th company. Quote. Pa. Wen Dongjun's face was slapped again. You still dare to lie to me? Captain, why don't you say your dad is the officer? You 2 brats dare to lie to me. I think the both of you are asking for a beating. Gangzi, Dazhuang, Fandu. Quote. Feng Yu looked at Wen Dongjun apologetically. He had forgotten that in this era, in a small village, the company leader was also a high-ranking official. It was not a big deal to say it out loud. If he had said that Wen Dongjun's father was the captain in the video hall, it might have worked. In the end, he said that Wen Dongjun's father was Director Shu, but he was exposed. Even if Wen Dongjun told them the truth, they would not believe him. Don't, I will take it out myself. Feng Yu suddenly had a scared look on his face. He took out all the money from his pocket and accidentally dropped it on the floor. There was a total of 17 to 18 RMB in his pocket. You should have done this earlier. Why do you have to be beaten up? You, hurry up. Quote. Wen Dongjun looked at them with a sad face and took out the money unwillingly. Feng Yu praised in his heart. This expression is great. After they picked up the money and kept it in their pockets, Feng Yu suddenly sat on the floor and hugged the leg of the leader. He cried. Just because you are from the vocational school, you can bully us. Why do you have the right to snatch our money? I had given you money several times. Why do you keep snatching my money? Quote. Little brat, what are you talking about? We took your money because we respect you. Don't be so shameless. Let go. Feng Yu used the strength of the leader's leg and somersaulted on the floor. His body was stained with some dirt, and he looked very embarrassed. You took their money because you respect them. Who taught you this? A gloomy voice sounded from behind the 3 vocational school students. Damn, who dares to meddle in my business? Shu, Director Shu. Quote. The 3 students were dumbfounded. When did Director Shu come? How come they did not see him? At this moment, they saw that kid lying on the floor looking at them. He was crying, but there was not a single tear in his eyes. Damn, they were cheated by this kid. No wonder he took out his money so easily just now. No wonder he said those words just now. It was all for Director Shu. Now, they are finished. They were caught by Director Shu for robbing a middle school student's money. No, they must get away with it. The 3 of you are students from the automobile class. How many times have you done this? Who dares to run away? Quote. The 3 of them stopped in their tracks. They had been recognized by Director Shu, and where else could they run to? If they really made Director Shu angry and fired the 3 of them, they would be beaten to death when they got home. This is the first time. This is really the first time. Nonsense. This is the 5th time I was robbed. You ask him how many times he was robbed. Feng Yu shouted. Wen Dongjun also understood that they have a backer now. He pointed to his face and said, you see, they had beaten me up. Last year, they had robbed me 6 times. This year, the semester had just started, and they came to stop me. I had already given them money, but they still beat me up. Quote. Director Shu looked at Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun's sorry state. His eyes twitched. Seems like I need to discipline the students of the vocational high school more harshly to clean up the atmosphere. Come, both of you come over first. I am Director Shu Lianglu. Don't be afraid. Tell me what happened and I will help you. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 17 Novelty. An hour later, Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun left the vocational high school office with a few tens of RMB. This was Feng Yu's magnanimity. He did not ask them to repay the debt. If not, based on what Feng Yu and Wen Dongjun said, each of them would have at least 100 RMB more. Ha ha ha, Xiao Yu, you are too awesome. How do you know that person is Director Shu? Have you seen him before? I have seen him from afar. Those 3 brats are unlucky. Director Shu said that they will be given demerit points and will have to reflect in front of all the teachers and students. In the future, they will have to walk around us. Quote. That's right. If they dare to be rude again, I will go and complain to Director Shu. They will definitely be fired. Although they will be given demerit points, they still have the chance to be a soldier. If they are fired, they will have to farm for the rest of their lives. Those few slaps just now were so satisfying. My hands are still hurting. Quote. Feng Yu insisted that it was a robbery and Director Shu pleaded for them. Feng Yu then changed his terms. He wants to get back at them for being slapped just now. Feng Yu kicked them 3 times and Wen Dongjun gritted his teeth and slapped them until their faces turned red. The 2 of them returned to school, laughing and joking, and returned the 5 students' stolen money to them. They only said that they met Director Shu by chance and did not describe in detail what happened. At night, they played poker in the dormitory until lights out. After that, they lay on their beds and talked about the interesting things that happened during the Lunar New Year. Before going to bed, Feng Yu was still thinking about how his brother-in-law's treasury bond business is doing. In another month, it will be harvest time. The next morning, Feng Yu was dragged out of his warm bed by Wen Dongjun. He will not be able to go to the cafeteria for breakfast if he woke up late. Feng Yu was upset. Why does secondary school have to start at 7 a.m.? Can't it be changed to 9 to 5? Sitting in the classroom, Feng Yu looked at a group of 15 to 16-year-old children with their hands on the desk. He wanted to laugh but his deskmate grabbed his hand and pressed it on the desk. His deskmate, Li Na, was the commissary in charge of studies. Not only did she have to supervise Feng Yu's studies, but she also had to supervise Feng Yu's discipline. The first class was Russian. Feng Yu yawned and couldn't help but want to sleep. The teacher's lecture wasn't bad, but it was extremely boring. Besides, his Russian was even better than the teacher. Why would he be interested in listening to the teacher's lecture? Feng Yu, the teacher is calling you. Li Na, who shared a desk with him, poked Feng Yu, waking Feng Yu up from his nap. Feng Yu, what's wrong with you? It's the first day of the new semester and you're not even paying attention. Do you still want to go to high school? Quote. Feng Yu pursed his lips. Teacher, I've learned everything you've taught me. The students' mocking laughter came from below. Although Feng Yu's studies weren't bad, he wasn't a top student either. He actually dared to boast shamelessly that he knew it. Russian is so difficult, who dares to say that they know it? Is that so? Then can you translate this sentence for me? Quote. The great proletarian revolutionary, Comrade Lenin, said that morality can help human society rise to a higher level and free human society from the exploitation of labor. Feng Yu translated and pursed his lips. What was written in the textbooks in this era? The Russian teacher looked at Feng Yu in surprise. Could it be that this brat had prepared for this lesson? He hadn't even said this sentence. How could Feng Yu know it? Can you translate this sentence again? A total of 5 sentences were translated by Feng Yu without any mistakes. The teacher and students were shocked. What made the teacher even more surprised was that Feng Yu even told a joke in Russian. Other than him, no one else in the class could understand it. The students were whispering, Feng Yu really knew everything. Listening to Feng Yu speak Russian, he seems to be even more fluent than the teacher. What did Feng Yu do during this winter break? How did his Russian improve so quickly? Sit down first. Even if you know it, you cannot be arrogant and you cannot sleep in class. After class, Wen Dongjun went over to Feng Yu. Xiao Yu, not bad. I didn't realize that your Russian is so good now. Actually, I have always been good. It was just that I did not want to show it in the past. Feng Yu said proudly. Feng Yu, how do you pronounce this word? What does it mean? Li Na pointed at a Russian word in her book to test Feng Yu. Fried Puton. It means tractor. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. Quote. Li Na was the best student in the class. Not only she was the school committee member, but she was also the class representative. But now, she was overtaken by Feng Yu. Looking at Li Na's angry look, Feng Yu laughed. This little brat's pride is broken. That look in her eyes, she is still not convinced. Everyone in the class thought that Feng Yu must have been studying during the winter break. If not, how could he improve so much? But only Wen Dongjun knew that Feng Yu had been studying. But he had never seen Feng Yu reading Russian books. He only studied physics and chemistry. All the students started to treat Feng Yu as a top student. Most of the students looked at him with admiration, except for the Tsunere Li Na. She swore that she will let Feng Yu know that she is the best student in the class. In the morning, Feng Yu easily passed Russian, Chinese, biology and politics. Not to mention Russian, he was also far ahead of the rest of the students in Chinese. A 40-plus-year-old student's comprehension was not as good as a 10-plus-year-old kid. But the classical Chinese questions gave Feng Yu a headache. If he met with such questions in the exam, he would give up. As for politics, as long as he praised it well, it will not be wrong. The unconvinced look in Li Na's eyes slowly turned into despair. Feng Yu's improvement was too big. She could not catch up. She had been studying hard during the winter break. Why was the gap between them so big? Feng Yu, did you find someone to tutor you during the winter break? Yes. Dongjun helped me. Feng Yu nodded. Him. Li Na turned around angrily. When Dongjun's results were about the same as Feng Yu, how could he help Feng Yu to become a top student? You don't want to tell me, but you still want to lie. The morning passed. The news of Feng Yu suddenly becoming a genius spread throughout the teacher's office. Teacher Sun, that Feng Yu from your class, I couldn't tell in the past. But now, I realize that this kid is really smart. That's right. Teacher Sun, why are there so many good students in your class? Unlike our class, there are only mischievous students. I wonder how many of them can get into high school. I think Feng Yu is going to be the top student in his grade. Teacher Sun has brought out another good student. The teachers kept praising Feng Yu, and Teacher Sun was confused. If Feng Yu had not gone to Bing City to visit him, Teacher Sun would not have a deep impression of Feng Yu. But as the form teacher, how could he not know which students were good in their studies? Feng Yu could only be considered above average. He still needs to study hard to get into high school. How did he become the top student in his grade? But since everyone was praising him, as the form teacher, he had to accept it. In the afternoon, it was time for Teacher Sun's mathematics class. To test if the other teachers were right, Teacher Sun called Feng Yu up to answer the questions. When Feng Yu saw the question on the blackboard, he was dumbfounded. He had studied advanced mathematics and had crammed a few days of algebra during the winter break. There shouldn't be a lot of questions that could stump him. But he had forgotten that junior high school mathematics was split into algebra and geometry, and the question on the blackboard was geometry. I'm sorry, teacher, I don't know how to answer it. Feng Yu lowered his head. He could feel all the students looking at him in surprise. Teacher Sun frowned. You don't know how to answer it. This question was very simple. He asked Li Na to answer it. Li Na got up and answered it easily. Before she sat down, she looked at Feng Yu proudly. Aren't you good at your studies? Didn't the teachers praise you for being smart? You also have questions that you don't know. For the next 3 questions, Feng Yu was called up. He couldn't answer a single question. As for Li Na, she easily answered all 3 questions correctly. Every time before she sat down, she would look at Feng Yu proudly and raise her chin higher and higher. The students also started to discuss softly. Feng Yu wasn't that smart. I can even answer this question. The next class was physics. Feng Yu was called up, but he still couldn't answer it. This time, Li Na didn't wait for the teacher to call her. She rushed to stand up and answer the question. So, he wasn't good at physics either. In chemistry, Feng Yu was called up by the teacher again. This time, he answered it, but he got it wrong. The students started to mock him again. Feng Yu's position in their hearts slowly changed from a top student to a bad student. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 18 Novelty. Look, that is Feng Yu from class 2. He pretended to know everything in the morning but he was exposed in the afternoon. I think he might not even be able to pass the technical secondary school. He should go to the vocational school. Quote. Really? In the afternoon, our form teacher asked us to learn from Feng Yu. Turns out that he is too partial to other subjects. If he fails in mathematics and physics, no high school will want him. Quote. Feng Yu walked calmly on the campus. After school, he walked from the classroom to the cafeteria and then back to the dormitory building. Along the way, there were students pointing at him. Feng Yu ignored them. He carried a small bag and walked slowly to the dormitory teacher's door. Ding ding ding. Teacher Shang, I need to use the phone. Use the phone. What's the hurry? Hang up after 2 rings and wait for the other party to call back. This is cheaper. Quote. Feng Yu smiled and did not say anything. He watched Teacher Shang open the wooden box with the phone locked and turned the dial. Hello, Power Post Office. Who are you looking for? I am looking for Li Shijiang. My name is Feng Yu. Seeing that Feng Yu's call went through, Teacher Shang's eyes widened. Answering the phone costs 20 cents per minute. Making a phone call costs 50 cents per minute. This kid's family background is so good that he is willing to spend so much money. Hello, Xiao Yu, are you asking about the treasury bonds? Let me tell you, just this week, we have earned a few thousand RMB from the treasury bonds. Li Shijiang said in a low voice. Calm down, brother Li. It's only a few thousand RMB. After 2 months, when you earn more than 10,000 RMB a month, you will not be able to close your mouth. Feng Yu said casually, but Teacher Shang, who was sitting on the chair, suddenly pricked up his ears. What is this? Earning more than 10,000 RMB a month? What is this kid doing? Earning so much in 1 month is more than 10 years of his salary. What does this kid's family do? Is he speculating? That's good. Are the few people you have found assured? Set a fixed purchase price for them every day. If they can lower the price, that is their ability. Don't worry about it. The money saved is theirs. It's almost March. Pay them their February salaries before the end of the month. Quote. They've only worked for a few days in February, and they're getting paid now. Just pay them all at the end of March. Li Shijiang didn't think it was necessary. How could he pay them if they didn't even have a month's salary? Feng Yu shook his head. He still couldn't wrap his head around it. If you don't even know how to stimulate labor enthusiasm, how can you be a leader in the future? Brother Li, didn't I tell you that I promised them that I would pay them at the end of every month? If the income was high, there would be a bonus of 5 or 10 yuan. Although it hadn't been a month yet, it was already the end of the month. If you pay them, they will be more motivated next month. March is the most important month for us. We must change all the money we have into treasury bonds. Quote. Alright, then at the end of the month, I'll give them a conversion based on the number of days. Brother Li, you can't count out the weekends. They are also working. Also, give everyone an extra 5 yuan bonus at the end of the month. Quote. It's fine if you don't rule out the weekend, but why are you giving them bonuses? Li Shijiang asked. Brother Li, this is to make them more motivated at work. This way, they will not slack off. Also, they are tired from work. That's true. They are still going door to door on a snowy day. Fine, I will give them if you say so. Oh, I had bought a new coat for you. I had sent it to your school. It should arrive in 2 days. Li Shijiang said. Thank you, Brother Li. Take care of my sister and don't let her be too tired. Tell her that good days are coming soon. Li Shijiang said. Both of them chatted for a while. Basically, it was Feng Yu explaining the details and Li Shijiang listening. After hanging up the phone, Feng Yu smiled. Brother-in-law is still so good to his family. He will definitely let his brother-in-law's family live a good life. Teacher Shang, how much is it? Teacher Shang looked at the clock on the wall. Oh my god, this phone call had lasted for 16 minutes. 50 cents per minute, that's 8 RMB. Does this kid even have 8 RMB in his pocket? But if he does not accept it, he will have to make up for it at the end of the month. His monthly salary is not enough. It was all his fault for being so engrossed in the conversation that he forgot to remind the child that the call was too long. Kid, didn't I tell you to hang up when the phone rings? Make it short. Why did you take so long? A total of 8 RMB. What are you going to tell your family? Teacher Shang's face was twisted. 8 RMB is not a small amount. If this kid's family knew that he had spent so much money on this phone call, will they give him the money? But Feng Yu only replied with an, oh, and took out 10 RMB from his pocket and gave it to him. Teacher Shang, do you need change? Quote. Kid, this is the money for your meal tickets, right? If you give it all to me, what are you going to do with your meals? Quote. Feng Yu took out a stack of meal tickets from his pocket and waved it at Teacher Shang. All the meal tickets are here. I can't even finish them in a month. Teacher Shang's jaw dropped. What does this kid's family do? How can they give this kid so much money? There is nothing special about this kid's clothes. Why is he spending so much money? Thinking of this, Teacher Shang's expression suddenly becomes serious. Kid, you cannot steal your family's money. Feng Yu was furious. It is not good for this teacher to be too responsible. Why is he suspecting everything? Teacher, my parents gave me this money. My family has 55 and 512, a type of harvester used to harvest soybeans, wheat, etc. Feng Yu pretended to be rich and acted as if he was from a wealthy family. Teacher Shang sighed. So, this kid's family is really rich. In this era, even a 55 can make a lot of money, let alone a 512. His family's annual income should be at least tens of thousands. I see. You should not spend your money recklessly. Don't call me like this next time. It is a waste of money. Here is your 2 RMB change. Go back to your dormitory. Quote. Where did this money come from? Of course, it is from the 3 vocational school students. Feng Yu had used all the money he brought from home to buy the meal tickets. Feng Yu took out fruit tree peel and white rabbit creamy candies from his pocket. He wanted to give them to Teacher Shang to taste as thanks for his concern. Teacher Shang looked at the fruit tree peel and white rabbit creamy candies on the table and kept them in his pocket. Feng Yu did not return to his dormitory. He went to the classroom for the evening self-study session. In this era, the evening self-study session is voluntary. Most of the students who come here are studying hard and want to enter high school. As for those who want to enter technical secondary school or not, they are playing poker in their dormitory or building snowmen outside. Li Na, how do you solve this question? Can you explain to me? Li Na glanced at Feng Yu. Didn't you boast that you were a genius in the morning? Don't you know everything? Why do you still need to ask me? Quote. This little girl is quite vengeful. Feng Yu took out his trump card. He took out some snacks from his desk and piled them on the table. My Russian is not bad. Everything else is average. 1 white rabbit creamy candies or 1 fruit tree peel for 1 question. Feng Yu's tone is like those tycoons in the movies. Take off your clothes for a stack of money. I don't have anything else but money. Li Na looked at the white rabbit creamy candies and said, don't try to bribe me. Feng Yu felt funny. I can clearly see you swallowing your saliva. How is this bribing? This is friendship between classmates. You help me solve the questions I don't know. This is friendship. I have food and I share it with you. This is also friendship. Quote. Oh, then give me the question. Let me see. Li Na took a piece of white rabbit creamy candies and opened the wrapper. She stuffed the candy into her mouth and squinted her eyes. You've already exceeded your reading limit for today. If you want to read more, please log in. Extraordinary Genius Chapter 19 Novelty. Relying on snacks, Feng Yu would look for Li Na to tutor him every afternoon and evening. Coupled with the difference in concentration, Feng Yu's grades improved rapidly. But for some reason, when Feng Yu ran out of snacks, Li Na also took the initiative to tutor him. Later on, when Li Na had snacks, she would also take the initiative to share with Feng Yu. It felt good to read a book and eat Niu Pai beans at the same time. Teacher Sun was very surprised. In the past, Feng Yu did not seem like a child who loved to study. Why was he working so hard recently? What happened to him? Also, every afternoon and evening, Feng Yu and Li Na would be together. Could it be that these two children were together? Because of this, he specially looked for Feng Yu to have a talk. He could not relax in his studies, but he could not be too tight either. Feng Yu said that he wanted to enter a high school in the city, so he had to work hard. Also, he did physical exercises every day to relax his body and asked the teacher not to worry. When Teacher Sun heard this, he gave a few words to Feng Yu. This child had ideas and goals, so let him try. Also, he felt that there was nothing wrong with these two children. They were just studying together. The results of the first monthly test were out. Full marks for Russian, Chinese, mathematics, and politics. Biology, physics, and chemistry were all passed. Feng Yu, this score is more than enough to enter a high school in H County. If you can improve your science score, then there is hope for you to enter a high school in the city. Li Na looked at Feng Yu's results. She seemed to be happier than if she got the first place in the whole grade. This is all thanks to you helping me with my lessons every day. But it is still incomparable to your results. Li Na proudly raised her head. You think you can surpass me after a few days of hard work? But from today onwards, you have to help me with my Russian. We are friends. Quote. Feng Yu snapped his fingers. No problem. When the results of the first monthly test were sent to his parents, Feng Xingtai was overjoyed. His teacher said that his son had a chance of getting into a high school in the city. How could it be wrong? However, there was one bad thing about this child. He was too extravagant. Every week, when he came back, he would ask his family for money. Now, he spent more every week than he used to in a month. But her son also said that the girl's boyfriend was trading treasury bonds in the city and had earned tens of thousands of RMB in the past month. Compared to this, the money his son spent was nothing. Feng Xingtai had sighed several times when he went to bed. It was so good to send his son to school. Look, not only can he speak foreign languages fluently, but he also knows how to make money. The old Feng family has a genius. This son is promising. Brother Li, has the news come out yet? In early April, Feng Yu called Li Shijiang every day. Could it be that he remembered wrongly and it wasn't April this year? What Feng Yu feared the most was that after his rebirth, many things would change because of the butterfly effect. If treasury bonds are not allowed to be traded, then he really does not know what else he can do to make money quickly and safely. He also does not know some of the inventions of the later generations. He likes to play with mobile phones, but there is no need to know how to make mobile phones. Could it be that he can only follow Li Shijiang's method and buy some small denomination treasury bonds to earn some money? When would he be able to earn millions of dollars? When would he be able to start his huge plan? I have not read today's newspaper. I have been busy all day. Wait for me, I will call you back in 10 minutes. Quote. Teacher Shang is used to Feng Yu calling the city every week. Feng Yu's family has a big business in the city and they are making big money. But for the past 3 days, Feng Yu had been calling Feng Yu every day. This is abnormal. Feng Yu, come and have a glass of water. What's wrong? I see you calling me every day these few days. Did something happen at home? Quote. Thank you, Teacher Shang. Nothing happened at home. It's my brother-in-law's problem. Feng Yu does not want to say more. This kind of thing is more troublesome to explain. Anyway, what he is doing is not illegal. Oh, it's normal for a couple to quarrel. Even your parents can't handle it. Why are you worrying? Feng Yu, this Teacher Shang's imagination is too strong. I can't explain it to you. Ring, ring, ring. Feng Yu grabbed the phone before Teacher Shang could reach out for it. Feng Yu, it's me, Brother Li. The news is here. Shen City will be the first to open next Monday. Then Bing City and the other 6 cities will open within 10 days. Treasury bonds can really be traded and circulated. Li Shijiang's low voice can be heard over the phone. But the excitement in his voice cannot be concealed. Brother Li, lower your voice. I can hear you. Apply for leave on Monday and make a trip to Shen City to see how much treasury bonds are selling. If it's high, sell them all. If it's low, buy treasury bonds and bring them back. Quote. Xiao Yu, if it's low in Shen City, will it rise in Bing City? Li Shijiang is still worried. Now he had hired 7 to 8 young men to collect treasury bonds. He can earn a few thousand a month. Not necessarily, but there will be other cities in the country that will rise. When the time comes, we will sell the treasury bonds to whichever city has the highest prices. You can ask around. Quote, "Don't worry, I also have comrades in the bank. I will go and apply for leave from the leader now. I will take the weekend off with my colleagues." Quote, "Okay, buy the tickets in advance. Go on Sunday night and arrive there on Monday morning. Take a taxi when you reach Shen City. Don't think it's expensive, it's fast and safe." Quote, "Xiao Yu, will you come with me? I am worried about others. I have a big bag of money with me. I am afraid I will fall asleep if I go alone. There are many pickpockets on the train." Quote, "At this time, Li Shijiang is scared again. The cash and treasury bonds he has with him add up to more than 100,000. If it is really stolen, he will not be able to atone for it even if he commits suicide." Feng Yu also thought that in this era, there are many pickpockets on the train. If he really loses all the money and treasury bonds, then Feng Yu's dream of building an economic empire will be delayed for a few years. "Okay, then you buy 2 train tickets. I will go with you." After hanging up the phone, Feng Yu paid and ran out excitedly to the field, shouting and cheering. The opportunity is finally here. This year, by trading treasury bonds, he will be able to make a few thousand RMB every day. It is definitely not an empty promise to make tens of millions in a year. During the weekend, Feng Yu did not go home. He asked Wen Dongjun to pass a message to his family that he is tutoring with his teacher and will be back next week. He also told his form teacher, Teacher Sun, that an elder in his family in Bing City is critically ill. He will be back by Tuesday latest. He got up early and took the bus to the city. After traveling for more than 2 hours, he finally arrived at the city. When he alighted from the bus, he saw Feng Danying standing at the entrance of the station waving at him. "Sis, why are you here? If I don't come, do you think you can find this place? Your brother Li is working today and asked me to pick you up. Why are you so troublesome? Brother Li's treasury bond business is doing well now. He can make a few thousand a month. Why are you still messing around?" Li Danying grumbled as she took the backpack from Feng Yu. "Sis, you don't understand. Just wait and see. In the future, we will make more than this." Quote, "More than this? Keep bragging. I heard from mom and dad that your results are good. This time, I will not tell mom and dad. Go to Shen City for a day and then go back to school. If you can't get into high school, I will not stop mom and dad from beating you up." Quote, "Sis, let's make a bet. Next month, we will make more than 50,000 RMB. Do you believe it?" Extraordinary Genius Chapter 20 Novelty. At noon, Feng Yu had lunch with his sister. In the afternoon, he went to the bank and found out that the treasury bonds in Bing City are selling at the market price. 100 RMB for 100 RMB. After dinner, Feng Yu and Li Shijiang boarded the train. Both of their backpacks are full of treasury bonds. Feng Yu kept watch for the first half of the night and let Li Shijiang sleep first. When he could not take it anymore, he woke Li Shijiang up and Li Shijiang fell asleep on the bed. In the end, he slept all the way until the next morning when he got out of the car. Li Shijiang smoked for more than 7 hours. He didn't drink a single drop of water or go to the toilet. "Brother Li, why didn't you wake me up?" Li Shijiang said. "It's okay. You sleep more. I can't sleep anyway." Li Shijiang's eyes are red. The treasury bonds in his backpack are worth almost 200,000 RMB. How can he sleep? At 8 a.m., both of them appeared at the entrance of ICBC Bank. Seeing that both of them were carrying a backpack, the security guard took a few extra glances at them. "Comrade, do you accept treasury bonds here?" The bank staff looked at Feng Yu in surprise. As the first city in China to open up the treasury bonds market, all the banks had received the notice and were prepared for the trading of treasury bonds. But they did not expect their first customer to be a teenager. "Of course, our bank has received the notice to allow the normal trading of treasury bonds. How much is the 100 RMB treasury bonds?" Feng Yu hurriedly asked. The staff replied with a puzzled look, 100 RMB treasury bonds. Of course it is 100 RMB. Gotcha. Feng Yu could hear the sound of his heart breaking. How can it be? Why did the price of treasury bonds not rise? Could it be because this is the first city to open up the treasury bonds market and the price has not risen? What about the 500 RMB bonds? What about the 1000 RMB bonds? What about the 5,000 RMB bonds? Feng Yu asked again. If it's 500 RMB bonds, then 500 RMB bonds. If it's 1,000 RMB bonds, then 1,000 RMB bonds. We do not have 5,000 RMB bonds. Feng Yu felt that the bank staff was looking at him as if he was an idiot. He sat on the chair in a daze. Could it be that he remembered wrongly? Or was it because of his appearance that history had changed? Xiao Yu, don't worry. We can't make money from this. Just treat it as us buying it back to earn interest. I have seen a lot of it. In another 2 to 3 years, we can exchange it for money. Li Shijiang patted Feng Yu's back to comfort him. Brother Li, write down the phone number of this bank. Let's go to the construction bank. Feng Yu didn't believe it. There must be a price difference between the banks. He didn't believe that other banks' prices could be so low. However, when he arrived at CCB, the answer was exactly the same. Still writing down the phone number, Feng Yu and the others went to the next shop. In this era, the country has begun to focus on the development of commercial banks. In addition to the traditional Huaxia Bank, Industrial and Commercial Bank, Construction Bank, and Agricultural Bank, other banks such as Bank of Communications, China Merchants Bank, and China Everbright Bank have also opened branches in provincial capitals. Feng Yu and the rest went from one bank to another to find out the price of treasury bonds. But without exception, all the banks' answers were the same, at par. After walking out of the last bank, Feng Yu and Li Shijiang sat on the steps, feeling weak. Brother Li, give me a cigarette. Forget it, Xiao Yu. Let's go back. We had spent a lot on the taxi today. Maybe the price will rise in the future. Li Shijiang comforted him. But Feng Yu seemed to be in a trance. He kept thinking if there was a problem with his memory or history had been changed. He also could not remember when that person in his previous life started to make money. He only remembered that it was after the 7 pilot banks opened. Could it be that he had made his move too early? The treasury bonds were not in short supply yet and the price had not risen yet. Just at this moment, a few people drove over and walked towards the bank. Let me tell you, saving money in the bank is not as good as buying treasury bonds. It is the same as fixed bonds but the interest is much higher. Also, this is considered as supporting the country's development. Glorious. Quote. But a few days ago, didn't they say that the treasury bonds were sold out? They were issued again. Quote. Li Shijiang asked. That's not true. But have you forgotten where my son works? The newspaper said that the treasury bonds are allowed to be traded normally. That means if you are in urgent need of money, you can bring the treasury bonds to the bank to exchange for money. It is very convenient. Think about it, there are many people who are in urgent need of money. Why are they not selling now? Since there are people selling, there will be people buying. Also, we don't have to wait for a long time. In 1 or 2 years, we can get 5 years of interest. Quote. Feng Yu's eyes followed these few people. These are the people who got the news and wanted to buy treasury bonds. Since the buyer and seller have appeared, then the price of treasury bonds will change. Supply exceeds demand, the price will not change. But what if the supply exceeds demand? Brother Li, let's go eat first. We will come back after eating. Li Shijiang opened his mouth and sighed. Why is he so stubborn? It is normal for the teacher to say something wrong. He hired those few lads to collect treasury bonds and they can earn a lot in a month. Li Shijiang does not have much appetite, but Feng Yu finished 3 big bowls of rice. Li Shijiang thought that Feng Yu was just joking. Who knew that after eating, Feng Yu really went back to the bank to inquire about the price. The other party said that the price is still at par. But this time, there is no disappointment in Feng Yu's eyes. It seems that his confidence has returned. After finding a small shop, Feng Yu called several banks. He is still inquiring about the price of treasury bonds. Xiao Yu, forget it. Let's go back, Li Shijiang said. Wait a little longer. The calls will be over soon. Feng Yu did not give up until the last call. Xiao Yu, we have gone to Huaxia Bank twice today. The price is definitely still at par. Feng Yu shook his head and dialed the last number on the paper. In another hour, the banks will close. Please increase the price. Please increase the price. Has the price of treasury bonds increased? How much is 100 RMB worth? Quote. Li Shijiang sighed, walked to the side and lit up a cigarette. After hanging up the phone, he will quickly buy a ticket back to Bing City. He does not want to delay this kid's studies. How much? 100 RMB and 20 RMB. Quote. After hanging up the phone, Feng Yu clenched his fist and waved. Increased. It really increased. Li Shijiang did not remember wrongly. The price of treasury bonds had increased by a few percent. It should be because it has just started, so the price has not increased yet. After a while, the price will be much higher than now. Brother Li, let's go back to Huasha Bank. Huasha Bank is the first bank to adjust the price of treasury bonds. Because there are more buyers than buyers, the bank leaders consulted their superiors. Their superiors agreed to follow the market rules and allowed the price to increase. When Feng Yu took out nearly 200,000 RMB worth of treasury bonds from his bag, the bank